It's taking its time. All right. Hello, everybody. Sheena from Atlas Agency Launch Lab here. Do you guys want to introduce yourself for a second?
Of course.
Oh,
yes. It's early in the morning. Also, John from Atlas Agency Launch Lab and JKO Works.
And hi, everyone. It's Jennifer. Yes, from Atlas Agency Launch Lab and Stealth Marketing Solutions on Long Island in New York.
All right. So we are here today. Oh, and we have Chris.
Hey, everybody. I'm Chris from Atlas Agency Launch Lab, also from Stealth Marketing Solutions. Happy to be here today and share some stuff with you guys.
Absolutely.
Sorry we're late today, guys. We had a little bit of technical issues. This happens sometimes.
Always.
But we are here today to talk about so many different things related to the Atlas Agency Launch Lab, so many different things related to marketing and mindset and all of those fun things. We will also have Zach joining us very soon as well. So today, let's start with one of the most important questions for us here in the marketing space is, how do we get clients? I think a lot of us, we get into marketing because we want freedom. We want to make money. We want to start working for the man. And then we get into it and realize, okay, it's not as simple to get clients as we thought it was going to be. So we're going to run through a couple of different ways to get clients, including a few that I've talked about before and some that I have never spoken about before. So the first thing, and I say it all the time, you need to know your avatar. You really, really need to know your avatar. And I don't mean you need to know which niche you're prospecting in. You need to know like the person that you're talking to. So you need to know what are they feeling? You know, what is that feeling when they get home from work? They're sitting in their car. All of us know it. We sit in our car and we take that minute to ourselves before we walk in the door. What is it that's causing that minute? Okay. What was that feeling that they have on Monday morning? Monday morning problem. We all call it a Monday morning problem or a bleeding neck issue. What is that? Okay. So what's that issue? What's that feeling that issue's calling? What is the emotion around that feeling? What is the fear that is driving that feeling? All right. We need to know all of these things. We need to know whether or not it's affecting their sleep, whether or not it's affecting their self-esteem. We need to know whether or not it's affecting their family, whether or not it's affecting their ability to lead their team. We need to know all of this before we can start prospecting. Because if we don't know that, we don't know who we're talking to and we can't reach them. The other thing we need to know is our branding. And Jen here is kind of our branding expert. She loves it. She gets down to the nuts and bolts with it for us and for our students. So I'm going to let her talk for a very quick second about what branding is.
Well, can you, as an agency owner, right? A small agency owner, boutique agency, branding is an extension of who we are, right? So you are here as a human using these particular services to help support the survival of small and medium-sized businesses in this really changing day and age, right? So our branding has taken on a real humanized form in the social media space. So we use branding in an embodied way as a template to be able. I have reverb, sweetie. Can you turn it? Sorry.
It's off. Sorry, it's off.
Just can you mute yourself?
We're having a little bit of technical issues here, guys. Okay. So I think what Jen's trying to talk about is, branding is so much more than our logo.
Yeah.
It's so much more than the colors. It's a tonality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's literally how you want, especially it's the same if you're going to be on your sales call. It's like how you as a human is going to connect with them, right? So it has to be done in a way that can tap into those emotions that Sheena was speaking about so we can grab them, right? It's not the services, it's hitting those pain points through the messaging that we provide.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get into that in an hour.
So you need to know your vision. You need to know your personality. You need to know your tonality. Are you guys funny? Are you guys conversational? Are you guys super, super professional? You need to know all of this. So when we talk about getting clients, often we say, yeah, okay, you're going to send 10 messages a day and things like that. But if you don't know your avatar, if you don't know your branding, you're not going to hit the right point. It's just going to be a waste of time most of the time. And a lot of us who have been agency owners for a little while, we get to this point where we're like, oh, cold email doesn't work. Cold calling doesn't work. Social media messages don't work. And a lot of the reason why is because we haven't understood our branding and we haven't understood our avatar. Therefore, we aren't creating messages that are hitting home. Okay, so that's the first thing to do. Second thing to do is to build out your ecosystem. So when I say to build out your ecosystem, I'm not saying make sure you're hitting people across all the right platforms. Okay, I mean, is your social media reflecting your brand? Is it talking to your avatar? If it's not, change it. All right. It takes 7 days to put out a couple of different posts and change the entire ecosystem of your social media. Go ahead, do that to your LinkedIn. Do it to your Instagram. All right. Look at your website copy. Is your website copy talking to people's pain points? Is it saying, is this you? All right. All of that needs to be built out. Secondly, you've got a couple of technical things you need to get in place. I suggest you start a YouTube channel. You start a Facebook group. Okay. These are incredible tools because not only is it going to give free value, which is what your clients are looking for to see whether or not you are an expert or not, it's also going to help because when we're doing prospecting, most of the time we reach out to people, they aren't ready to get on a call with you right now. And there's so many reasons. They don't respect you as an expert yet. They are well and truly pitched out by so many different people. And they're not at the sales part of their buyer's journey. All right. In their buyer's journey, there are 3 distinct parts, and we'll go into that in a different live. But if you're talking to somebody who's not ready to get on that sales call right now, and you try and push them to that sales call, you're either going to lose them or you're going to get somebody on the sales call who's not going to be an ideal client for you because they don't want what you have and they don't respect what you have and they don't respect your team. So if you have a Facebook group built out, if you have a YouTube channel built out, if you have a place where they can consume more things about you, interact with you more, then you can move them along the buyer's journey without having to get them to a sales call. All right. So there is that rule I talk about a lot. Google talks about it. Google came up with it. It is the 7-11-4 rule. It says your prospects don't just need one simple Facebook message. They need 7 hours of content across 11 different touch points on 4 different platforms. They need all of that before they can even decide whether or not you're somebody that they want to buy from. All right. So when you're doing your prospecting, when you are reaching out to people, you need to use the right message. You need to determine where they are at inside their buyer's journey. And you need to have the content out there that they can consume. Because if you don't, they're going to get hungry. They're going to find someone else who has that content. And you're going to lose them. Right? So you're going to reach out to them too. The next point about this is you're not going to be salesy. All right. There's a trend in our marketing culture where we ask people, hey, can you take on more clients? Right? That doesn't work anymore. Multiple reasons. All you're doing is talking about what you can do. All right. You might think that you're asking a question that will speak to their pain points, but it's not. You're just saying, hey, I can do this awesome thing and get you more clients. Nobody cares. So when you reach out to somebody, don't be salesy. Start a conversation because conversations are what equal sales. Find out about them. What did they do over the weekend? Are they a grandma? Do they have kids? What is it about them that you can talk to them, that you can show them that you're a human person, not just a salesperson? And from that conversation, find out their pain points. All right. One of my favorite tips for this that was actually clarified around by my appointment setters was when you talk to somebody, don't just respond. always leave the comment with a question, right? Ask a bunch of open-ended questions, and don't just ask random questions like, hey, how was your weekend? Those are important, but you want to be asking powerful questions, okay? The other thing I will often do is I will use LinkedIn, and I will reach out to my avatar, my person that I want to talk to, and I will invite them on a call, right? So I will say, I am updating my marketing avatar. Would you be open to getting on a 10-minute call with me, answering a couple of questions and helping me redefine my marketing avatar? Most of the time, they're going to say yes, because they're super, super excited that somebody's reached out to them, wants to form a connection, get on a call with them, and not sell them. On that call, you're going to ask them questions, and they're going to give you every single pain point that you need to then close them. All right? So I do that. I add them as a friend on social media. I like the things that they have done. I invite them to my groups. I share information that is relevant to what it is that we've just talked about. I then also, if they allow me to, add them to my newsletter mailing list where I'm giving value. I'm not pitching, I'm not selling. Some of the times I am. There has to be a call to action, but I am giving as much value as I possibly can. And then the other thing I will do, not with LinkedIn, is if I'm doing something a bit more traditional, like cold email, okay, I'm not just going to send 3, 4, 5, 8 cold email chains and then say, oh, this person opened my email and they never responded, I'm done. I will add them to my voicemail drop system. So I will connect with them across another platform. I will add them as a friend on LinkedIn. I will send them a message. I will do an audit. All right, you guys have seen my videos about how to conduct an audit and how to use that as a prospecting tool. I will do that for them because it's free value. I'm helping them out, okay? So if you're sitting here thinking, I can't get clients, take a look. Do you know your avatar? Do you know your branding? What state of health is your current ecosystem? What is your buyer's journey? And are you utilizing that, or are you just trying to go straight for the sale? And is your messaging conversational? Are you building relationships? Because if you can change those few pieces, it doesn't matter which platform you're using and what strategies you're using. I can sit here and give you 20 different ways to get clients, and I can absolutely do that. If you guys want to get on a call with me, I'll help you out with it. But until you have those core pieces in place, none of it's going to help. All right.
Well said.
Well, thank you. So we're going to let John come in here now, and he's going to have a little bit of a conversation around the top 10 ways to make money using Go High Level. Because as I said, we often get into the agency space to make money. So there are some tools you can do, there are ways you can make money quickly, and John's going to jump in and tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Sheena. And basically to sort of tee off on some of what she's saying, and if you guys are like me, sometimes there are lots and lots of tools to accomplish what we're talking about. The things that she talked about in branding and knowing your avatar are things that don't necessarily need tools. They need research, but they don't necessarily need tools. But then it will come a time that you do want to jump in and figure out, what are the tools I'm going to use to make this happen? And there are hundreds of them. The one that we center around a lot is Go High Level. So, and Go High Level is most of you may or may not know, it's a CRM system, but it's really designed around marketers. Now, there are other competitions. There's the Monday.coms, and there's the Pipe Drives, and there's the Active Campaigns, and a whole lot more. There's dozens of them. But there's things about this one and the price point that really makes a lot of sense and makes it work. And so one of the things I talked about or found was in sort of borrowing from not only information that they put out, but some of my own experience as well is some things we're going to do. Maybe we can get the screen sharing going on here because I have slides. There it goes. Okay, so the top 10 ways to make money quickly on Go High Level, because we're all into the tools, aren't we? But then you go into this thing. And for those of you who have ever been into Go High Level or a CRM like it, and when you first log in, there's a reason they take you to this thing they call the launch pad with these little checklists, because the rest of it is absolutely intimidating. So here are some ways we can make money relatively quickly with relatively little effort using perhaps skills we already have. And this is going to resonate with people some and not going to resonate with people in other ways. So maybe one of these will hit you as a good idea. First, a little bit about me, just briefly. I came alongside Atlas Agency Launch Lab as their Go High Level person. And there's still, even after, some pretty intense deep dives into Go High Level, there's still things I don't know about it. There's still, I contend there's things that the executive team doesn't know about, of Go High Level doesn't know about Go High Level. It's a vast and flexible platform, and that's part of its beauty, and that's part of its, issue at the same time. Before that, extensive background as a small business owner, businesses anywhere from 5 to 200 people, and then all along the way doing the sales and marketing and technology and website building and all those sorts of things. So that's sort of how I came to be in this group, and they're gracious enough to let me hang around, mostly because I'm the one who gets to work on all the back office stuff, so they don't have to. So so without further ado, from the home office in beautiful downtown Cut and Shoot, Texas, here is today's top 10 ways to make money quickly on Go High Level. And some of you are snickering at that name, but what you may not know is that actually is a town called Cut and Shoot, Texas. It's not very far from me. I'm near Houston. And with a nod to our friend, Mr. Letterman, who I'm still bitter at, who decided to name my high school here the second snobbiest school in the nation back in one of his top 10 lists in 1988. That was joyous, and had to deal with that. All right, so number 10. This is the obvious one, so we're going to get it out of the way. The affiliates and the SAS, software as a service, SaaS. So they bake this in at your agency level of Go High Level. It's and they wrap to their credit, they wrap entire programs around this, about coaching you, about using your affiliate link to get how to position yourself, how to position the software. And so they're basically arming salespeople, and they have some wonderful ways of doing it. So that kind of comes with the level of your program where you get access to this stuff. The SaaS level doesn't really come till the $497 level, but I think the affiliate link is a little bit lower. It may be the $297 if I'm not mistaken. But to resell this, I mean, they're paying like 40% commission. That's a great gig if you can get it. And they teach you and enable you in ways on how to do it. So that's a real easy win to get started, and they practically hand you the materials to go represent them as Go High Level. So number 9 is ads integration. So this is they Go High Level did a thing probably last year where they, maybe about this time, a little earlier, where they brought in Google, the Google team, and did lives with them about the whole Google guaranteed, now called local service ads. So that is a sort of it's kind of quietly baked in, but it's baked in into this. So you can host it, you can report on it. It goes out and gets the information and brings it back into the reporting section. It does this also, as you see prominently there, with Facebook ads. So I think that's a newer thing that they have really built out. And they have, since I've been associated with it, always had used to be called Metapixel. Now it's the Facebook, or the other way around, Facebook Pixel. Now it's called the Metapixel. But the same piece of code you can put into all the forms and track all the activity and everything, and that helps your ads. But now they've brought in the reporting of this. So this is a nice thing that you can go back and sell for your clients, and it doesn't replace all the managers and all the stuff you got to go through. But if you're already running Facebook ads, this is or Google, certain types of Google ads, you can bring them in here and have them report. So that is something you can sell as an extra service of, hey, we'll get you on our platform and you can track all of your ads, and here's what's going on. Just a little way to make a little extra money. All right, so number 8, Yext and Google Business Profile. This is another freebie because Yext integration is built in. For those of you not familiar with Yext, there are a few. I've been looking for alternatives for it, and there just aren't that many that kind of do what they do. There are some, but Yext is a NAP listing deal. And just in case you think, for those of you who don't know, just in case you think that NAP is something fancy, it's name, address, and phone number. So it's listing your business in online directories and multiple online directories and getting them out there. But what Sheena was talking about earlier with Google Business Profile, that a little, she talked to that a little bit and dressing that out whenever you're changing your social media around, when you're changing your LinkedIn around, change your Facebook page around, you go set up your Google Business Profile, fill it out all the way. You will be amazed at what kind of leads come your way. And if you don't want to have a place where people can walk in, that's perfectly fine. It just has to be a legitimate local address, and you can set up a service area that you serve. So like AC repair people and so forth work out of their house, but they service an area that's maybe 100 square miles. Okay. So this lets you do the same. And it's a free pass into Google's ecosystem. Remember, Google and Facebook trade in information, right? So the more information you give them about your business, in the ways that they offer, the more they reward you by providing that data, by putting you in different places. So you will start, if a fully completed Google Business Profile, to the extent that it applies to you, filling the whole thing out, plus adding an offer under the offers section, which they have. You can just repurpose an ad and do that if you're not doing Google ads. And a logo, and maybe a picture of you helping somebody, or something. Use legal photos, of course, but there's ways you can do that and put all those in there. You can even there's a little blog section that you can write a couple things about your business, and that's free advertising. You start showing up when somebody does a search, you do the maps, and you start showing up in the maps, believe it or not, just from doing that. Let alone if you run ads, that's a different deal. But the SEO people will tell you, fill all this out. So this is an easy way to do this. And then if you want to use Yext, it's baked in to go high level. It's a service that they add on. They give you a decent rate for it. You can even resell it to your clients if you want for a small markup. And it's just an extra value added service for ways to, get you out there and get you listed. Now, we are up to number 7 of the top 10 ways to make money. And this is the prospecting feature. And this was exciting when they rolled this out last year, and it just kind of quietly has been there. Now, I hear you purists out there going, that's from those leads are junk, those leads are whatever. But I'm telling you what, if you're starting out, it's a place to start. Yeah. I think they pull them. I'm not 100% certain. But so I could be completely wrong, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter, except to talk about the quality of leads, I think. But I think they pull them from some relationship with D7,
yeah,
which is a big aggregate information provider. So I'm not going to vouch for the accuracy of the leads that they pull from here, the contacts that they pull, but you can search by niche, you can search by industry. And you can get a listing of that, and you can use it. This is in your agency view of Go High Level, and you can see what's out there. So it's a ready-made opportunity that you can utilize, imperfect as it is, to give a start. So let's keep in mind that when Go High Level themselves has said, if we're going to replace a piece of software, because when you look at their website, they list it's somewhere in their sales material, the number of softwares that they replace, and the monthly cost of those softwares rolled down into one Go High Level. And it's stunning how many they replace, but they replace 90% of the functionality. That's their goal. They know they're not going to get 100%. They don't aim for 100%, or they don't aim for exact copies. But they aim for 90% of the functionality for a variety of reasons. Probably keeps them out of legal trouble, but it also keeps them out of, somebody wants this really small, thing that it does that no one else wants, and it's not physically viable to spend time trying to duplicate that. So if they can get the overwhelming majority of the functionality there, then great. And prospecting is kind of an example of that. So you then understand how, it's not all the way, but it's a good start. When you don't have any leads, when you don't have any lists, when you don't have any places to start, and you potentially don't have a lot of money to invest, give it a shot. But know, as Sheena was saying, know your avatar, know your branding before you start looking at these lists, because you might lose yourself in it. Okay. Number 6. Go ahead.
One of the things I love about the lists that you can utilize inside of High Level is that it will give you a very brief audit of the business as well. So it will tell you if it has a Google business profile. It will tell you things about their Facebook page and things like that.
Very true. Very true. And what applies to those applies to those businesses too. If they have those set up, if they're synchronized, then they will start showing up in Google. If they don't, that's an opportunity for you to say, if you get everything saying the same message here, it starts, getting you noticed a whole lot more. I can help you with that.
Yep.
So it's a legit way of helping with that. So very, very good point. Okay, number 6. This is I had a little bit of a nod to AI. Sorry, Chris, I didn't put more in here for you. He is our AI expert, and he'll share some of that in a little while.
No worries. No worries. Go.
All right.
Go right into
buddy.
it.
Yep. So this is as close as we're going to get for the second, mostly because some of the AI function, it's there. It's now there more than ever, but it was for some reason harder to find all of a sudden. I think they're working some things around about it. It's called Content AI inside of Go High Level. And so it was a little bit harder you can build it into all the workflows. You can build it into the messaging. You can build it into the social media posting. It's easy to add, but those aren't directly going to make you money. They're just, for the moment, they're just cool because they fill in a lot of content barriers. This, however, will. If you set up a sub account that does nothing for a business more than setting appointments for them and decreasing no-shows and on the reminders, you've done them a service. You can do a lot more for them, obviously, as a digital marketing type person or a marketing strategist or business strategist. But if you do nothing more than that, and that saves everybody time and money, and actually, continues to remind the people, then I promise that's a service they wouldn't have otherwise, especially as hard as staff is to find at times. Let this handle it for them. And then if you want to take that just with a regular appointment setting workflow with the basic ones that are baked in, but you can get creative with them. And then you can take it to another level and add their Eliza platform that interacts with the people, goes back and forth and sets these times. It's AI. It's been around before some of the other AI stuff stepped in, and they've done some work on developing it. So it can replace some of those appointment setting things that you have. So that is certainly one that it's simplistic, but man, it works and people will be grateful. Okay, number 5, WordPress hosting. Most of you, if you're not website coders, this is but just know that you can, if you don't like your current website provider, you can bring it into Go High Level and host it for a set amount and then resell that. I think it's $10 is the amount basically that they charge you to host it. Now, there are some issues there. I mean, there's still, it doesn't have as much functionality as, say, a Bluehost or a SiteGround or a GoDaddy or some of those. Not yet. They're catching it up, but it doesn't have complete and total functionality. Like, for example, I think they have just only recently added FTP access. So a backdoor for you to go edit the actual files on your web page in a way that you're familiar with. Instead of, using some sort of visual editor to do it, like you pull up a file in your computer in the Explorer or the whatever the Apple's version of it is, and then you actually open it there. They didn't have that for a little while. I think now they do. If not, it's destined to be rolled out here very, very soon. So the WordPress hosting isn't perfect, but they partnered with Google Cloud to make it extremely fast and extremely viable. And so it's an opportunity that you can resell to somebody. Hey, let me move your website over here and host it already in our system. Can you connect Go High Level to somebody's website hosted elsewhere? Yes, you can. They have a plugin called Lead Connector for WordPress people that you can turn on, and it connects to most of the Go High Level functionality, the forms, mostly the forms and those sorts of things, but also some funnels and some other pieces that it does, and the website chat widget, which is something that's I can't remember if I added that or not. We'll have to see if that comes up in the top 10 in just a little while. But there you can add that externally, but you can also have it in here where everything's in here, and it's just another thing that you can help them by hosting if you have somebody with the technical proficiency to deal with it. But that is nonetheless, something you can do. All right, we're into the top 5 finally. Number 4, the newsletter campaigns. I don't know if you've ever looked at some of these, but they're pretty well done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing. I love these. I don't use them very much myself because I don't have a lot of time to mess about with them, but I think they're beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Some of them they've really worked hard in recent times to make this even more viable. And you say, I'm not a professional newsletter person, I don't know what to put in here. I have come across a great template formula for it that's simplistic. And it's basically number one, so it's like there's like 3 things in the whole newsletter, and that's pretty much it, other than a little bit of advertising of who the company is. The first thing is some sort of little short something that you wrote yourself. The second thing is something pulled and cited from the internet. If you pull an article from or information from somebody else, give them credit. You'd want the same done for you. Don't just steal it as yours. But you can put that as the second thing. And then the third thing is some sort of promotional deal that you have that you or your client has going on. So you put those into that, and that's about all everybody has time to read anyway. Let you guys in on a little bit of a public speaking secret. People understand things in 3s. That's ask your average preacher how that goes. But that's the way people set things up, is in 3s. And so that's the way we remember a lot of things. Perhaps Jen or some of the other group can speak to more of that, but we tend to remember things better in 3 points. So that's why when you see a lot of public speaking things, that's why they put that there. And so your newsletter is the same idea. It's 3 points, that you're dealing with. So great way to set that up. Sell that as a service. Even if you never let them into the account, you start creating the newsletters and sending it for them. You'll do your client a huge favor. All right, top 3 time. Here we go. Okay, number 1. With all due respect to people like Russell Brunson out there, the funnel building portion of this, you can do. It's if you're even remotely willing to take on building a website inside their website builder or funnel builder, it's the same engine basically, with a few differences. You can design sales funnels for people. You can design landing pages for people. You can do that, and that's all that's in their account, and you start bringing them, and if you're willing to take the time and creativity to set that out. I've been told by people, and I don't know, I mean, this may be a purist thing, that some of the templates that Go High Level provides for this are not the greatest, but that could be a purist thing. If you're an even semi-creative person, or a semi-creative person, somehow merge that together into creating these things that customers will pay you for. They'll pay you a modest amount of money. They'll pay your bill for Go High Level for doing this.
I think as long as we recognize the fact that they're templates, it's a structure. We still need to add content. We still need to add images. We can, adjust it and supercharge it if we want to, as long as we realize it's a foundational building block. Then exactly. I think we're awesome.
And it should be your own message anyway, right?
Yeah.
That's what some of these are, and they're trying to put that out there. Yeah, I personally think they're just fine, but it should be my own message. Otherwise, really, what am I doing here?
Mhm.
Or it should be the client's message, and you work with a client to make that happen. But this is an easy one. You can set up sub accounts that do nothing but funnels, and then when you add the automations to the back of it, oh boy, it can be. I mean, you can make it do some nice things, and these clients won't know how to live without you. Number 2, getting near the end here. For those of you who know me, you knew this was coming somewhere. You just didn't know where. You probably thought it was going to be number 1, but you now know it's not. And I'm talking about referrals. This I discovered, for those of you who don't know, most of the rest of the people have heard this, so I'll be short. But I discovered the power of referrals probably a little over a year ago. And it was another one in a long series of moments where you just put your palm to your forehead and go, why didn't I think of that? It makes too much sense. And even paid referrals at that. So this is a piece of my paid referral page for my agency and what that looks like. And so I actually do pay for referrals, and I encourage my clients to do the same somehow, some way. It's every situation's a little different, but for ongoing things, you really owe it to them to reward that person, because they're coming in and bringing somebody who is well over 75% likely to buy from you. It's as high as 92%, depending on which studies you look at. And your next level down possibility is like 20 or 30% likely for all your other efforts and closing efforts and that sort of thing. So I will take this all day long. So this is a great way to do this. Look at your clients' existing people. Can they refer somebody to you? If they're a high ticket service like an AC unit or a roof or something that's very high end that you really only need once, then combine this with something else I'm going to show you, because I'm just going to go ahead and go to it. Number 1, message marketing. The best way to do this. You can combine message marketing and referrals and absolutely blow up a client's potential and fill their calendar for what they can do. So message marketing is heard it mentioned from other people. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought it was cool versus standard lead generation tactics. It does have some limitations. You have to have an existing list to work from somehow, some way. If you don't, then that's a problem and it won't work. But if you have even remotely a slight list, you have a way to continuously, the people liken it to an ATM machine. You just continuously hit that ATM machine for money, because you by putting out a special offer or a contest or a promotion or a giveaway or something. I mean, I'm kind of saying the same things, but or something. I mean, continue once a month. Don't do it every week. Don't be that guy who has a sale every week that changes everything around, or girl. But hit once a month, perfectly acceptable. For restaurants, this is awesome. This works great. And if you don't have a list, you can put QR codes around your restaurant. Go high level. I mean, you have to use a little bit of external magic to make that happen, but it's easy and free and not difficult to do at all. And you can make that happen, and you can build up a restaurant's clientele quickly. And if you think about the rate of return that you get, if you can buy, if I can, how quickly can I pay for myself? How quickly can I pay for my services? If I get you 3 customers that come in and buy what you have, how will that pay for me? Okay, so yeah, that'll pay for you. Okay, great. So then 10 show up. Yep. And that there will be no discussion of value. And if there is, then you need to find a different client, because if they can't see that, and that you've way under promised and way over delivered, then they're not going to be a good client for you anyhow. So that's it. The top 10 ways to get clients, relatively quickly. These take a little bit of effort in some cases, but if you already have the skill set in place and you have a go high level account, jump in here and do this. Jump in here and find which one of these resonates with you. and if nothing else, use it as a foot in the door when you're talking to somebody, because they're relatively, with some exceptions, relatively low cost. That you can jump in with somebody, and it can be that foot in the door that helps bring that validity that Sheena was talking about earlier on in the discussion, and Jen as well. So, it helps really bring that in. So, honorable mention here for the membership area, the new client portal they just rolled out in the communities. These take a lot longer to develop, particularly the membership area and the e-courses, because you have to have video and that sort of thing. But these can be huge money makers for people. And then the portal and the communities are something you can add as value. They replace things like School or some of the other little portal softwares that are out there, or they're aiming to replace them anyway. So honorable mention there. Now, how do we use these in our Go High Level not our Go High Level, we use Go High Level. How do we use these in our Atlas Agency Launch Lab? Well, we have a snapshot that we put together for students that we hand them and then we go in and set them up and show them how to use it and show them how to connect everything, because it's got most of what you saw in there has been added, and there's foundational pieces. There's referrals and reputation management, and Go High Level's huge communication efforts, and some online presence. That's it's all added there, as far as what they do. We configure it for them. I mentioned. Sorry, I'm just looking at notes here. The prospects and the people that you bring in, the VAs, can use this. You can allow them in to work in the system. It's just a ready-made system to go for everything. That it becomes your central hub of your back office. It becomes that place where you can, it's a central point you can send everybody to, whether or not you use all the functionality. But that's why they recognize the value of it. That's how we use it in the Atlas Agency Launch Lab. These students, once they're done, they come out with this ready-made business to go. So, it's the frame of the hot rod that we're building. It's the frame of the Hennessy Project engineering car that we're building for them, if you ever want to look them up. But the only thing, is it the aesthetics and the things that really make it go? Not necessarily. But it's a huge part of the backbone and the foundation, and that's why we choose to use it. Okay, so couple of giveaways. I'm going to throw one out there. There should be a link, I hope, if the technology will cooperate with us.
There.
Okay, it's there. So this is for anybody who wants the referral snapshot. If you want the referral snapshot, do us the courtesy, give us a little bit of information about you. It's something for free. Come on, guys. And let us know just a little bit about you, and whether or not anything that we are talking about might be a fit for you. And then I'll send you the free snapshot. And then there is also some other things that we're going to talk about later. That there is the grand prize of the entire student snapshot that I use. You won't get their contacts, sorry guys. But you will get the same snapshot that we hand to them, basically ready to go. One lucky winner is going to get that. So that's my portion of the show. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, for anybody along the way, put them in the comments, and let's. There's a lot more knowledge to share. So I want you, please hang around and let us pour into you some today, and absolutely fill your brain and explode. With knowledge, so that you're ready to go with what this is. And then if you're overwhelmed by what you're finding, then and all the things that we're talking about, maybe it's time to think about upgrading your training, upgrading your knowledge, and Atlas Agency Launch Lab can help with that. And that's one of the reasons we're here. So thank you guys.
I have shared it across a couple of our platforms. This is being streamed across a few platforms. There is a spreadsheet. If you put your name in there, your phone number, and your email address, then we will be able to contact you if you are one of the winners of our giveaways. We are not just giving away snapshots here. We are giving away everybody who signs up for the Atlas Agency Launch Lab Done For You program before October 4th will get their entire program fee refunded to them. this is the last month that we are selling it for 40% off. So I suggest that if you want to go ahead with us, now's the time. We are giving away all of those snapshots that John has built out for all of our students. We are giving away sales training. We're giving away audit training. We are giving away social media AI prompts. We're giving away access to Jen's brain spotting sessions that she does with all of our students. So there's so many free things, including things I haven't just mentioned. So put your phone number, put your email address, put your name inside of the sign up sheet that I have shared across these platforms. If you're going to put your email address in there and you're the winner for the snapshot, then I suggest that you put in the email address you use for high level, because that's the email address you need it to receive your snapshots.
Good point. Good point.
All right. We are going to move ahead and let Chris take the spotlight, because he is going to talk to us about AI in marketing. AI is here. AI is a tool. AI is our friend, but AI cannot run itself unless you know how to do it. So Chris is going to talk to us a little bit about that, and I know he has a bit of a giveaway for us as well.
Hey, everybody. How we doing? Thank you, John. That was great. A lot of good information in there. So where to begin with AI? I mean, we could do 2 hours just on AI, probably 4 hours at this point with everything that's going on a day-to-day basis. Sorry about that. The main thing I want to let everybody know is that Terminator was indeed a documentary. It's happening right now. The robots are taking over. Just kidding. But we're getting close. So I want to start with some new things that have happened in recent days. Meta, or Facebook, whatever you want to call them, is now releasing conversational chatbot assistants, and they're doing it across all of their messenger apps, and they're going to expand past that. But for now, you're going to be able to, on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, and Instagram, have a conversational chatbot that is essentially like ChatGPT. So what this means is you're going to be able to talk to ChatGPT throughout all these interfaces and get so much information and data. And their goal is basically to have the AI become your personal virtual assistant right there. And it's going to take a lot of tasks out of their hands and allow you to do things in a much more streamlined fashion. Amazon is right behind them. And in the next week, I believe they're going to be releasing AI-powered Alexa that can be connected across all your devices where you use Alexa. So you could be walking around in your living room thinking about something for business, and you could talk to Alexa like it's ChatGPT and give it prompts that will then connect to your computer. So you could be making a cup of coffee, giving prompts that are then going to show up on your computer. So working by just talking to all of your Alexas, which is pretty crazy. I mean, there's going to be a lot of creativity, a lot of different things that you're going to be able to do with some of this new technology. Something else that OpenAI just released that is really interesting is they upgraded DALL-E, which is a image creator. So they had DALL-E 2, which was making really, really quality images, but it was struggling with the text. And so now they integrated the language model of ChatGPT into the image creator. So it's in beta right now. They just released it releasing in October. In the next couple weeks, it's going to be where you can tell it to make an image, but now you can give it text that can write in the image. And that's super interesting and useful for marketers, because theoretically you can say, I want an image of, people in an office working on a blackboard with some specific text that you give it to make a background for an ad that you want to post, say on your Facebook business page, on your Instagram, social media, on your LinkedIn. And you can then give a text prompt that will write out on the image. So essentially you can create your ad. Now you have a picture that you made yourself right from here in minutes that you can now link your landing page to and put on your business pages. So that is really cool stuff that's just released right now, that's going to be coming in the next few weeks and few months. We're going to see some significant and exciting changes to be able to use. So one of the main things I want to talk about that we use a lot in Atlas and in Stealth is we use a content creation software called ScaleNut. The more popular version of that is Jasper AI, and it's very similar to ScaleNut, where it is a writing assistant, basically. But there are some differences with Jasper AI and ScaleNut, so I want to talk about those. The most important one being that ScaleNut is a lot cheaper at $17 a month for like 100,000 words per month. So that's the baseline price, really pretty good. Jasper starts at $40 a month. So if you're not using it too much, right, or you're just getting used to it and you want to kind of test it and see, is this something I'm going to use frequently? Definitely go with ScaleNut, and you can play around with that. The other thing that ScaleNut has that Jasper doesn't have is a lot of templates for marketing. So they have a whole section of marketing copy where they have templates for website copy, email copies, and whatnot. And in the drop down, right, Sheena, if you can help me share the screen, I'm going to present you and show you guys what ScaleNut looks like.
All right. As soon as you share it to StreamYard, I will edit.
Yep, I'm doing it. It's being finicky.
Tech gremlins always always. The days you don't need it to work, it works. The days you do need it to work, it doesn't.
Of course, no, it's not.
I would say that's Murphy's Law, but my wife's maiden name is Murphy, and she gets very
upset. That'll get you in trouble, John. Yeah, here's like talk about AI. Our Wi-Fi is not doing a good job here. Yeah. Sorry about that. Let me see. I'll let you know if and when I can share that. But for now, I'll just continue talking about it. So it has all these AI copyrights. You can use a cold email. You can do personalized emails. You can put in your branding in your business and let it know who you are and who you're trying to reach. You can make that customer avatar so that when you're using a template for an email, it already has all that information, and it helps you write that with just a couple of inputs. And it puts it in a nice edit mode where you can just adjust it to personalize it how you want. But again, it's a huge time saver. If you're doing a lot of emails yourself, you want some warm emails to get out there, really connect with people. That's something that can help you a ton. Something I've used it for quite a bit is they have an article writer and something called cruise mode. And this is just insane. You basically put in a couple of prompts to make a draft article, right? You put in your details such as context. If you want to write a blog, right? I want to write a blog about productivity in marketing. You enter that and you give it the tone of voice that you want, all right? And again, you can put in brand voices. So you can create your tone of voice where it learns how you speak. You can also use and save others. There's a company called Liquid Death Water, and they have a very kind of fun and irreverent tone. And so I save that as one to kind of just be able to create something that's a little bit different that I would then modify. But you can just, get a very professional tone. You can use different companies where you're like, I really love how they sound. Their marketing really grabs me. Well, you can go to their website or take some of their copy, plug it into ScaleNut, and save it as a brand voice for any article, blog, website copy, or email copy. So really cool stuff that you can do there. Now, this cruise mode will pump out a first draft for you. It will have headings, H1, H2, subheadings, and it's going to build it out so that you have your first draft. And in the editor, the best thing that I love about ScaleNut, it has a built-in on-page SEO optimizer, and it is amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, you can rank above people. In about 10 minutes, you can make an article that is going to rank very, very high, and it will help provide authority to your website by using some of the tools. So they have keyword research, right? Competitor analysis. So if you write an article about a topic, you can just go over on competitor analysis. Again, I'm trying to share that screen. I apologize, it's not working. But you can share the competitors and it'll pop up and it will show you based on your topic that you're writing about, these are the top SEO ranking articles out there on the web, right? You can look at them, you can assess keywords that they use, and you can adjust your keywords and your content to rank above them. So one of the other things it has is built-in images. So you're writing a blog, you want a couple images, you put that in, and then you can add alternate text, which will bump your SEO score up even more. So a lot of articles are out there in like the 60s, 70s out of 100 ranking on SEO, but you can make ones that are in the 80s in literally under 10 minutes. So that's a pretty cool and unique aspect that ScaleNut has. What else with that? Yeah, the keyword research. That's right. It has a keyword planner. So if you're not even writing an article or a blog post, but say you're doing social media posts, you can find the topic that you're talking about and go into ScaleNut and use a keyword researcher. You put in one keyword and it will populate keyword clusters for you, right? And you click on any of the clusters you want and it ranks all the keywords, and it has all categories listed out. Highest percentage of use, top clusters to use, keyword difficulty scores. Again, all these things you can take and use for social media posts. It will then help you generate hashtags for social media posts that will integrate together to rank and to get attention to the Instagram algorithms and TikTok and whatever you might be using. So that's a really cool tool. I do recommend using it. I use Jasper AI, and I do think the writing is a little bit better. There's a little less modification that has to be done on your part, but ScaleNut has other AI tools in it where you can adjust it. So as far as the SEO tools, the keywords, the competitor analysis that you have, that blows Jasper away. But spending a little bit of extra time using the AI tools to modify your writing combined with those other tools, you'll come out with a much better overall product that's going to kind of rank with, on a search engine results page. So all those things together, big fan of ScaleNut. I use it almost daily now and definitely recommend that. Another thing I want to talk about is engaging your customers with some original visual content using kind of a creative little workflow where you put some softwares together. And so starting with writing, okay, using ScaleNut, you create, say, a blog post or an article like we just spoke about that is optimized for SEO. From there, I'm sure you guys have heard of Lumen 5. If you haven't, it's really, really cool. Its counterpart is Pictory.ai, which is pretty good, but they use mostly AI voiceovers, which I'm not a huge fan of just yet. They'll be getting better soon to where they'll sound pretty human-like, and maybe at that point I'll use them. But I like using pre-recorded videos or even doing a voiceover yourself. So you can take that article, blog post, put it into Lumen 5, and then it will help you create a video where you use open source stock images and stock videos, okay? And it will take the context of the blog and it will make a really, really professional looking video where you can just express whatever content you want. And we all know that videos are a lot more engaging and get a lot more traction online than written posts. So say your Facebook business page or your LinkedIn profile, and you want to get somebody's attention about something you want them to know about, a service that you offer, something unique, something just to grab their attention. You can go create a blog post, and again, under 10 minutes, right? Optimize for SEO. So you have keywords built into the content. Now those keywords are going to translate to video on Lumen. Again, 10, 15 minutes once you kind of learn how to use it. So under 30 minutes, you could create that blog post, make a video, post it to your Facebook, post it to your LinkedIn, and now you have a really professional looking finished product that people will definitely be impressed with. So Lumen 5 and Pictory AI, write those two down. Something else I want to discuss is ChatGPT. I hope everybody's using ChatGPT or Claude at this point because it's so amazing the things you can do. If you're not using it much, if you haven't learned how to prompt yet, it's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting once you really get into it and learn how to give it input and create output that you didn't even think of yourself, and to brainstorm just different ideas for your business. It's really interesting. So one of the cool things they've updated in the past few months is that you can now use custom instructions inside ChatGPT. So you have to use the Plus version, which is $20 a month, and that is easy for me to recommend $20 a month to use ChatGPT. And the custom instructions section, you can tell ChatGPT who you are. All right, you can put in there who you are as a person. You can tell them again about your business, about your brand, about the customers that you're trying to reach. So that will learn all of that stuff. And when you start putting feedback in, it's going to learn what you're looking for, who you are. And then on another part in the custom instructions, you can do a lot of different things. But one of my favorites is you can add a prompt that's built into any prompt that you already do. And that is, if you ask ChatGPT a question, it will give you information. At the end of that, it will just automatically ask you, do you want 3 questions to delve a little deeper into some of these topics? And all you have to do is write 3Q and put that in. And it will create 3 questions about the content that it just put out. And what this does is it gives you new ideas, things that you haven't thought about, and you go, oh, wow, that's interesting. You take 1 or 2 or 3 of those questions, whichever one you like, you plug it back into ChatGPT, and now it's going a little bit deeper. Now you're learning stuff, right? You've shifted over here, and you're like, well, I didn't even think about that. Then you hit 3 questions again. 10 minutes later, you're like, I came in here asking about this, and I can't believe that this is what I got out of those questions. So that is a really, really cool feature. So if you're using ChatGPT, I recommend upgrade to the Plus version, learn how to use those custom instructions so that you can communicate with it and let it know who you are and who your business is, and really kind of help you with your branding. So the next thing, how to use plugins and use a YouTube video to make a post for your Facebook business page, your LinkedIn page. Another creative way just to use different softwares to get a new output for you. So if you have a pen, VoxScript is a very, very cool ChatGPT plugin. It's completely free. And then Photorealistic is another interesting one that will help you make prompts for an image creator. So it can use Midjourney, it can use DALL-E. But what you do is you use VoxScript and you find a YouTube video that you want some similar content about. So you find something about the top 3 trending topics in marketing in 2023, something like that. All right, you take that YouTube video, you put it into ChatGPT, and you tell it, using VoxScript plugin, I want you to analyze the content of this video and give me the highlights and tell me what they're talking about. It takes about 30 seconds. It will analyze the video and it will give you a really detailed highlight about what they discussed. Now you have your options to use your custom instructions and ask 3 questions if you want. So that will kind of shift, change a little bit the idea of the content and the topics, and at least in the way that you're talking about them. So you're starting to create original content from this video. Then from there, what you can do is you tell it to use a photorealistic app, and you can say, based on these topics, I want you to create a prompt for me to use and to put into Midjourney or DALL-E. And it will give you multiple prompts that you can then copy, bring over to the image generator, put in the image generator, and it will start creating images that are related to your topic. Again, you can combine that with the content that you're creating, and now you can essentially make an ad. I wish I could share this on my screen. I apologize, but if you have a pen, there's a really interesting prompt that you can use for this. You take a YouTube video or any content that you want, using those Midjourney prompts, now you have your images. A good prompt to get the next step of your own original creative content is this. So based on the last output that I created, act as a marketing copywriter, right? So it's always good to tell ChatGPT to take on a role. That's one of the most effective things. And create a Facebook and a LinkedIn post that would be engaging to my customer avatar, the customer avatar that you already explained to it. So it already knows who your avatar is. Make this specific to my company's branding, again, pre-built into your ChatGPT. And then a very key prompt, underline this, use emotional and visceral language. The copy that generates is so much better than your average copy. If you don't tell it how to write, you're going to get that ChatGPT instructional type tone. But emotional and visceral language is one of the best prompts to give it. And as far as trying to sell, you can tell it, making sales copy, you say, be sure to create tension, right? Because that's a part of marketing and sales, is you want to create that tension, and you tell it not to sound too salesy. So you're right, don't sound too salesy. And then at the end, lead to a strong call to action. All right, so now it's going to create this content. You have your images you made in Midjourney. You started with this original content from a YouTube video, but now you're over here, you have your original content. If you're going to use it for social media, say Facebook, you could just tell it, add any relevant hashtags and keywords for SEO optimization. So that's just an interesting workflow to use a couple different things to really get creative, give you some ideas, come up with some videos, some posts that you can use. And another good one, I know we were talking about emailing. Mail Mentor is a newer AI software. It's not too expensive, and it has a sequence builder in the interface. Essentially what that is you're starting with a cold email, right? You give it just basic instructions, such as the tone of voice and the type of business that you're trying to reach. If you have more specific instructions for a warm email, you can put all that detail in, and it's going to create an initial outreach email. The cool thing about this is it already has the built-in follow-up emails that it's going to create for you. So it can create, you just tell it how many you want, and you can schedule your emails to go out when you want, right? 3 days later, send the second email. Next day, 2 days later, send the third email. And it has the AI writer built into it. So it's going to give you a really good start. It's going to, with the tone of voices that you can use, you can really get creative and write different kind of copy. And the marketing aspect, the copy that it comes out with, it's not perfect. Don't get me wrong. You do still have to modify it, but it's pretty good. So that's a really interesting one if you're looking to do an email campaign where you want to get some creative copy and you want to automate it. Mail Mentor is a very, very interesting software. So definitely check that one out. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of the coolest extensions out there for Chrome is the AI PRM extension. So AI PRM. Unfortunately, they started out, it was completely free, and now they upgraded to paid. Not too expensive. The base plan is about $29. And then if you really love it, which you might, the next plan up, which is close to unlimited, all you would really need is $79 a month. So a little pricey, but I use it for free. I don't even pay for the versions. And basically what this does, it has built-in, extremely detailed prompts. You put in the topic that you're searching for, and boom, a whole bunch of prompts will come up, and you can go through and say, which one do I want to try? One of the cool ones I like that amazed me was a one-click blog post. So I want to write a post about brain spotting for optimizing my mindset. You put that in, you click, and it makes an entire blog post. I was like, are you kidding me? This is crazy. They have, again, email copy posts. Really anything that you can think of. So AI PRM is one of the best free ones out there, and you can save your prompts. You can create prompts and share them with the community. There's people out there who are creating prompts every day, and they'll put them in there, and everyone rates them. So there's thousands and thousands, but the good thing is there rated and they're starred, and there's people talking about, hey, I use this and this was a really good one. So that is definitely a significant Chrome extension that you can implement for free. Try it, see if you like it. If you find yourself using it a lot, you upgrade to the $29 a month plan. So as far as the softwares, everything, that's about it. That's all I have for you guys. But using those softwares, you can do all sorts of things. And keep in mind, keeping up with all these softwares is key right now. Mm-hmm. So do a little research yourself, because every day they're upgrading things. Like I said, DALL-E 3 now is going to be a game changer, right? We're going to be able to make ads by just connecting with ChatGPT and telling it, this is what I want. This is what I want written. I mean, that's insane. So stay on top of these because every day our lives are getting easier to do all the things that we need to do to reach our customers.
Yep. I talk to marketers sometimes and they get a little worried that their job is going to be obsolete because, you know, AI is here. And I just want to encourage you guys, AI is a tool. All right. It's a tool that makes your job easier. And running an agency myself, I know 100% how busy you can be. So any tool you can use to make your job better, use it. And if you're telling business owners that you know how to utilize AI, they are much more likely to come with you because they know that the market space has changed. And a business owner, an agency owner that is ahead of the game, understands AI, is really going to set themselves apart. Now, as a giveaway, we have a small sheet that gives you a few prompts that you can use for social media creation that will help make your life a little easier. So I'll be dropping it in the comments. Everybody who wanted a list of the softwares that Chris spoke about just now, put your information inside the webinar document and we will get an email sent to you in the next 48 hours about it. Just a brief conversation about the softwares that he used. So I'm going to run around technology for a second and make sure that everybody has access to the giveaway document on social media. Just a quick reminder though, when you're using AI to create social media posts or anything, it doesn't negate the fact that you need a human touch. All right.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. You know, it's a starting point that will get you 80% of the way and save you a lot of time.
And it never hurts just every once in a while just to double check what it's giving you, particularly if it's something to deal with facts. That's some things that they're struggling with.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend your entire time doing it, but periodically, fact check it to make sure that it's accurate, because if somehow it's not and you're using it, that looks poorly on you, but it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And I think within 6 months that likely you'll always want to check it, but that likely won't be the case as often, right? As we go, that's one of the things they're working on, is making sure that the content being created is factual. So there's a race right now between a lot of the tech giants coming out with some amazing stuff. So it's just going to get more and more fun. And if some people do have that outlook about, I don't want AI, in my house, this and that, it's coming. There's nothing you can do about it. It's going to be integrated into your refrigerator, into your dishwasher, it's already here. So just embrace it, use it to your advantage the way you want, use it with integrity, right? You make sure you're doing the right thing. And that's what it's there for. It's not going to put everybody out of work. It's going to create new jobs based on people who know how to use it, right? A whole new profession, prompt engineering, is out there already. There's a lot of jobs that have been created for people who know how to prompt. So just embrace it.
It's huge right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And bring this back to Atlas Agency Launch Lab. We are, with Chris's help, currently building out or plan to be rolling out a AI and marketing module that will help talk you through how to utilize AI and some of these prompts. Now, we understand that this will have to be updated very frequently because AI changes and everything else, and we don't have the modules out just yet, but it is on its way, because we believe that here at Atlas Agency Launch Lab, you need to have all the tools you can possibly have in your arsenal. So since we're here and we're talking, I think Chris might have frozen. Chris froze. He's like, yeah, more chores for us to add to our plate.
Looking at a black screen.
No, we can still see his face. He's just a little frozen. We scared him off here,
Okay.
guys.
We'll fix that.
Here I am.
There you went.
There
Okay.
he is.
Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So since we're talking about the things that are coming to Atlas Agency Launch Lab, how about we talk about the things that we currently have? So Atlas Agency Launch Lab, for those of you who don't know, is more than just a community. It's more than us just going live and talking about valuable things that hopefully help you guys. Atlas Agency Launch Lab was created because we are marketers and we've been through multitudes of courses and we've tried the hard way to get agencies up and running. And during that time, we found that there was a lot of information missing, that there was situations that we came across that nobody really seemed to have the answers for. So we started just giving that information out to people. And then we realized that people need a little bit more in-depth help at times. And so we created our 12 module process. 12 module process is based on Atlas. So Atlas Online Solutions is the name of my agency. Atlas Agency Launch Lab is a service that I offer along with the help from Chris, Jen, John, and Zach. Zach will be here very soon. You guys will get to meet him. And we take students through Atlas. So A is agency foundation. All right. We make sure that your agency foundation is rock solid. We build you out a website. We talk to you about that ecosystem that we were talking about when it comes to prospecting, and we get all of those things in place. T is targeting. We make sure we are very, very clear that we know exactly who we're talking to and how to talk to them. L is landing and closing. Landing and closing is got to be one of the hardest things that students come to us about. They're like, yeah, I can start conversations, but I don't know how to get them to a sales call, or I'm getting them on a sales call, but I'm just not closing them. So we teach you not just by watching modules, we sit with you on sales calls and we close your clients for you so you can see exactly how it's done. And we have, the next one is advance. And we have a saying in Atlas Agency Launch Lab, sticky clients is what scale agencies. We don't all like prospecting. All right. And if you are constantly trying to grow your agency by getting new clients, you're not going to get there very quickly. All right. So sticky clients, scale agencies, we teach you how to get those clients. We teach you how to keep those clients. And then we talk about having systems and processes, as John talked about during his things. Systems, backend, everything is incredibly important, because if you don't have those systems and processes in place, you're going to get to 7, 8. If you get a massive client, 1, and then think, oh, I can't take on any more because I'm already way over my head. To be an agency head, you need to lead a team, not be the team. All right. So we make sure that you have all those processes in place to build on that foundation. And then S is to showcase. All right. Our students, when they come through our program, are hardworking. You know, they commit 10 hours a week. They really throw themselves into their process. As much as we have us 5 agency heads working alongside them, as much as everything we can do for them is done for them, it's really them that gets their agency where it needs to be able to go. And we teach them about how to showcase that. We teach them about how to spread it across social media and how to utilize that success that they've had to then get more clients. So if you are interested in starting your agency, or if you've already started your agency and you've got to the point that some of us get to and we're like, do you know what? This is hard work. I'm feeling burnt out. I don't know how to get big. You know, I want to take on the world and I don't know how to get there. Reach out and have a conversation with one of us, because we have a few spaces every single month where we take on agency owners just like you who really, really want your agencies to expand. And we help you expand. All right. We take you through, and we don't just care about your agency. We're not here to say, all right, if you're not doing a daily prospecting list, you're not going to get there, or you have a question, go back and watch module, blah, blah, blah. We care about you. And the reason we only take in a few students a month is because, multi-reasons, but because we're agency heads ourselves. This works because we are at the coalface every single day inside of our own agencies. Mm-hmm. We see the stress, we feel the stress. And so when you come in, you're surrounded by agency heads who get it. And we're going to help you. Jen's going to meet with you guys and talk you through brain spotting. She's going to help you get over that imposter syndrome, or those blocks that a lot of us don't even know we have until we come up against them, so that you can really shine, turn your brain into a precision tool and get where you need to go. She's going to help you reassess the way you look at money, reassess the way you look at having a team, reassess the way you look at a business or an agency, and then give you the tools that you need so that you can walk into your office or your work or your desk every single day, do your best productive work, and then turn around, go back to your family, go back to your friends, go back to your life outside of it, and leave it behind when you need to leave it behind. Chris is going to come alongside you. He didn't talk about this. We know a lot more Chris knows a lot more about life than just chatgpt. He is an incredible physical therapist. And so he comes alongside everybody and he helps make sure that ergonomically they're aligned. We mostly talk about in Module 8. He helps talk to people when you're sitting at a computer all day, or when you're carrying stress. Which part of your body do you carry it in most of the time? Probably your upper back or your shoulders. He talks to people about how to not allow your job or your agency ruin your body. And then we have Zach, who will be here soon. Although he doesn't actively work anymore, he has a certification as a personal trainer. So he comes in and he helps people with the fact that, moving your body and taking care of your calories, going from often a very physical job to a sedentary lifestyle is a big change. And he talks you through how to do that, to reassess yourself and look after yourself. John comes in, he makes sure that your CRM is working as your digital assistant to the best of his ability and the best of your ability. He helps make sure that your systems processes are in place so that all those small things that often just pile up and make you super stressed out are covered. And then I come in and I just try and give you guys an encyclopedic mind. I don't know everything. I really, really don't. And my students will tell you the amount of times they've asked me a question. I've said, do you know what? I don't know, but let's find out, because I don't know everything, but I do know the parts that you need to get your business up and running. And the parts I don't know, I'm going to find out, because there are so many smart people out there. And I'm very blessed to have a network of very smart people that I can bounce ideas from and get information for you guys. So it's a 12-step process, all right? Right from week 1, you get a module. Okay, modules aren't more than an hour or so long. You do the module, there's a small amount of homework. We can't do it all for you. We don't know your avatar. We don't know your brand. We could make up a fancy, fun agency for you, but it's not going to be a place you want to work in because it's not going to be yours. So there is some homework that you need to do. And often the first 4 weeks are the hardest because there's a lot of technical button pushing foundational stuff that we have to put in place together. But once that's done, you have me, Jen, Chris, John, you have Zach, you have the entire team of 9 people that we hire to work alongside you, helping you build your agency, getting it running, getting it going smoothly. So that at the end of those 12 weeks, not only do you have finances, you have money in your bank account because you've done the work to get yourself clients, you have freedom. All right, your processes are in place. Your agency is up. Your agency is working. We have helped you hire or showed you how to hire or helped you assess which parts you need help with so that you can have that laptop lifestyle. Now, I'm probably the worst person to talk about that because I do micromanage and work too hard sometimes. But you have the ability to step away and allow your agency to work without you for that long weekend, for that, I only want to start work 11 o'clock in the morning, so that's when I'm going to start working. So that's basically what we do here at Atlas Agency Launch Lab. There are so many more things we do. We build your website. You get a free website when you join on with us. We close your clients for you. We help you with your prospecting. We help you with the fulfillment if you need help with fulfillment. We give you our scripts. We give you our Go high level snapshots. We We give you proposal templates. We help you hire. I will sit there with you in those interviews and help you hire staff if you want to hire staff. I will help you fire staff if you want to fire staff. We will be there. You will get there. And then week 12, it's not like, hey, thanks, you did it, goodbye, never want to talk to you again. You're part of the Atlas Agency Launch Lab family for life, all right? You're part of our Facebook groups. You get free coaching for the rest of your life. I mean, you're welcome to send me an email whenever and ask a question, and I will do my best to get on there with you. You have access to Jen. She doesn't just say, all right, you guys have done your 12 brain spotting sessions. Your brain's fixed. Off you go. If you say to her, look, Jen, I need a little bit more support here. If she doesn't help you, she has a team and a network of people who are highly qualified and trained to help you. And she'll talk to you about that a little bit more. You have John. You get a brand new client and you're like, this client needs so much more tech stuff than I know how to do, or I need to go high level to do this really, really funky thing. John, does it work? He's going to be able to sit with you. He's going to be part of your network forever. And same with Chris, same with Zach, and same with myself. So it's not just 12 weeks. Here we go. Let's go on this ride together. See you later. Goodbye. We are a family forever. Now, I am very blessed. I have a couple of students who recorded some testimonials for you guys. First one's from Lynette. I have one from Philip, but technology is not my friend today either, and it doesn't seem to let me share it. So let's take a quick look about what Lynette has to say, and we're very blessed she recorded this, even though she has a cold. So let's give her a little love, guys, and take a look to see what she has to say for us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lynette. I'm a student at the Atlas Agency Launch Lab. And I just want to say that if you're looking to build your agency, and if you have questions and you're not sure where to turn with them and you're not getting answers, you've come to the right place. I had just started to build my own agency. I had taken a few courses. I had figured a few things out, but I was beginning to realize how much I didn't know. There were so many gaps in my knowledge, so much that I really didn't know how to handle well, and mistakes I could tell I was making along the way. This course has been phenomenal for answering my questions, for giving me that knowledge, for really giving me the support. The support is phenomenal. Like, it really is second to none. I can ask a question at any time and get an answer relatively quickly. The group coaching, the individual coaching, all of it really helps to support everything that I do on a day-to-day basis. And I really see massive potential now, where before I was seeing question marks and uncertainties, to be honest. But this course has really made the difference for me. So I just wanted to let you know, yes, it's really worth it. And thank you, Sheena, Zach, and everybody else at the Atlas Agency Launch Lab. It's been a great journey so far, and I look forward to what's still to come.
So there we have it. That was Lynette, guys. So we got to give Lynette a little bit of love. I'm very blessed. You know what? I came on here and I sent out a couple of messages. I said, hey guys, we can get me a testimonial before this time, because I have a couple, but none that were current. So we're very blessed that Lynette did that for us, and I didn't get to watch it. And so I feel like super in love right now, because it was my first time watching that. So thank you so much, Lynette. We have a couple from Philip. I'll share them inside of our group that the rest of you guys can see. We have written testimonials. If you want to check out more of what our students have to say, you'll see them on our Facebook page, on our business page, right? As I mentioned, Atlas Agency Launch Lab is a service that my agency offers, and we have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. So you know that we've had our background checks done. You know that people have gone through, made sure that we're honest, we're telling the truth, and what we provide, we actually deliver on. So there you have it, guys. If you'd like to be part of the Atlas Agency Launch Lab family, you have 3 days. 3 days to enter that draw and get your entire program fee refunded back to your account, and we will get your agency up and running in 90 days or less. So guys, I'm super excited to see what we do. We only take in a few students a month though, so space is limited. If you don't have your appointment, book an appointment. Reach out to me, reach out to John, reach out to Yasa, reach out to Selena, All of us work on the team to get those appointments booked in, and we will get you guys started. All right. That's enough about us, enough about what we do. How about we hand this over to Jen, and she can help talk to us about some of the support that we provide in Atlas Agency Launch Lab.
Well, first off, I just want to say that Sheena is an encyclopedia, and I have not asked a question since I first started partnering and communicating with her that she hasn't known. So that's just my 2 cents. So yes, but anyway, hi everyone. I'm Jen, and I'm just so happy that we're all here together, and just I'm so honored as a therapist that I actually get to bring the work I do out of the clinical space into the space of support, right? It's support that I not only hold space for, but I get so much support by being in that space that we're all going through together, because I'm a human too. I'm going through all these stressors. So, you know, to be able to do that one-on-one with everyone, like every time you help somebody heal, you heal yourself. So it's such a beautiful mutual experience that we go through here at Atlas Agency Launch Lab. So right now, for the next few minutes, or like 15 minutes, and we're going to explore how optimizing brain function relates to your business performance. Right, I'm going to cover a little bit of brain science behind just some common blocks to success that we all go through. And I'm going to dive into brain spotting that we use at Atlas Agency Launch Lab, and I'm going to connect these concepts to branding and your business strategy. So just a little bit about me. I did my graduate research on somatic education, neurobiology, and stress, and how it affects human behavior. And I've been intensively studying somatic and mind-body movement therapies since 2008. So I really look forward to adding some tips and tricks in Module 8 with Chris and Zach on how to use your body in a way that can support you. So, but I emphasize the importance of optimizing your brain function and emotional regulation, because it's the foundation for what you need to accomplish everything in life and in business, right? So let's start with the brain, right? Brain science research shows that stress, as we know, triggers that fight or flight response, and it creates reactions like avoidance, anxiety, coping mechanisms, addictions to anything like these things, right? And this can really wreak havoc on your business, because whenever you feel like you're losing focus, or feel like your perception is distorted, but you can't get out of it, and it affects your strategic thinking, like that's all because we have to get a hold on how our brain functions, right? Because stress dysregulates the nervous system, and especially the survival brain where trauma is stored, right? Logic does not help us when we're under stress, right? We got to process those experiences through the body and clear blocks in our nervous system. So a little bit about brain spotting, right? Everyone's like, what is this, right? Well, just think about it. Have you ever caught yourself staring at nothing and thinking about something, and it felt totally random? Like you felt like you were like, I don't know, like lost in thought, looking out the window and wondering like, how in the world did my mind wander to there? Well, that's brain spotting, right? When you find yourself locked on a position, processing some thoughts or emotions, that's basically just the coined term for what we already do, right? It's premised on where you look affects how you feel. So it's a powerful tool discovered by the world-renowned therapist, Dr. David Grand, and he discovered it at ground zero after 9/11. He treated thousands of first responders. And with each and every one of them, he tracked and guided their eye positions, and he watched their body posture and their facial expressions. And each and every one of them would find an eye position where the massive trauma would release from their body. It's kind of miraculous how such a tragedy, which was very close to my heart because we live really close to there, it birthed the most powerful way for humans to self-regulate right now on our planet. So brain spotting uses relevant eye positions, right, to access stuck traumas and mental blocks. And what we do is we notice your body sensations and emotions while you're doing that, because our body sensations and our emotions are literally the language of our midbrain. It's our survival brain. And our midbrain is what informs our thinking and language brain centers known as the neocortex, right? And by virtue of sensing into your body, noticing where it feels most intense or most disassociated wherever you're looking, this actually will allow your nervous system to discharge stress, and it will actually build new neural pathways. It calms the nervous system, and it literally rescaffolds. Think about this, 4 quadrillion neural networks in the brain. That's more than all the stars in the universe, right? Our brains are literally quantum. And studies show that brain spotting restores focus and resilience, and it helps us handle challenges better, right? By creating these new neural networks, you actually create new possibilities for yourself and your life, just all by using your eyes, right? Our eyes are not just our eyes. They consist of 100 million neural pathways directly to the midbrain, where all that stress and trauma is held. So our brains and bodies naturally process our daily experiences, and they file them away in ways that allow us to learn and move forward. But sometimes, and a lot of times, because we're all living in a very stressful time in history, experiences actually do get stuck in the process. So the neural networks get tangled, right? And they get misfiled away in a way that doesn't serve us well. I like to use the analogy that if you don't brain spot, you're literally using, like, your brain's like an old GPS system that's using roadmaps back from the 1920s, right? So it's really important that we do things like this to help update our system, right? So brain spotting takes our brain and body's natural method of processing and filing information and uses it to make sure things get filed away in the most healthy and efficient way for you, right? And effects are permanent with brain spotting because you're literally rewiring your brain. I want to share a couple examples about some brain spotting sessions. One of them I did with Zach actually a few weeks back, where he was working through a brain block just around work-life balance. And after our session, he was able to complete stalled tasks like that were weighing him down for weeks, right? It just flowed out of him. He was able to perform better. The same thing happened for Sheena just after one session. And recently I did a brain spotting session with one of our students who just had a mental block around his branding. Within 15 minutes of brain spotting, we tore through his brand strategy, and he was not just in a flow state, like, he was on fire. He was able to connect the dots to thoughts that beforehand didn't seem connected based on his previous perception, right? His perception profoundly shifted within minutes, right? He saw the light of his knowing. How? They're connecting to his body sensations and a brain spot. It happened so quickly, right? So to succeed in today's day and age, you need routines that optimize brain function. Skipping this will lead to brain fog, distraction, and burnout, literal burnout of your adrenal glands. So brain spotting provides the neural reset to prevent overload so you stay focused, right? And this applies to our branding too, right? We can't think through blocks or stressors. When you do your brand strategy, or if you do brand strategy with your clients, like, you need to be in a flow state, right? Because it's a place of innovation, right? Your agency and brand is a part of you, right? And brain spotting gives you the ability to bridge that gap where your mind is blocked, right? Whether it's conscious or subconscious, right? Your brand, because your brand is more than just the services you provide, right? It's literally your digital identity. So back to the brain, right? The midbrain, it's our survival brain. It acts only based on past data, and its only job is to look out for your safety, whether it's emotional safety or physical safety. That's all it does, and that's the part of the brain that functions first before we think. So listening to your body's wisdom is key, right? If you have any discomfort, that is literally signaling that there's a brain block. It's not a mindset issue, right? You have to clear those blocks first and then apply logic, right? This allows for authentic and embodied brand messaging that connects deeply, right? Your audience feels seen and felt, not just informed, right? With an embodied foundation to yourself, to your agency, and to your brand, you build brands that uplift humanity while achieving your own success. So it creates more meaning, right? For you as an agency owner, and then for the people that you serve. So managing your nervous system is as crucial as business strategy and hard work, right? Mindset alone does not work. Having unresolved blocks leads to disappointment despite believing harder, right? Motivation depends on a regulated nervous system. So two signs of blocks are discomfort and avoidance, right? Problems linger in the survival brain, not the thinking brain, right? And we can't think our way through these blocks. You have to clear them in the midbrain and the body first, and only then can you apply logic to embody powerful and empowering mindsets, right? And when you're doing business, always make sure, like, notice your physical and behavioral signals. You always have to, like, tune in with yourself. If you have any discomfort with a task, it means you literally have a brain block. It's not necessarily a lack of discipline, right? If you're avoiding something or procrastinating, it's just your survival your survival brain's way of telling you that you need to check in with yourself and do something about it, right? If you have these lingering projects, they indicate blocks. And these type of behaviors indicate that we are functioning in survival mode. And research shows, this one is crazy, that when we are in survival mode, our IQ literally drops 30 to 70 points. Think about that for a second. It's a big drop, right? So you can use tools like brain spotting to discharge blocks around success, around imposter syndrome. It doesn't matter about something that's going on in your personal life that's affecting your business, your health. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just working with your nervous system, right? So you want to help prevent self-sabotage, right? You want to help you want to help prevent like passive aggressive behavior just because you're not dealing with something, but you have to still, be on your best behavior. You want to liberate your potential. And that's what we do here at Atlas Agency Launch Lab. We take it really, really seriously, right? Clearing work-related stress regularly is so vital to the success of your business, right? We want to do our best, not have our work stress seep so deeply into our personal lives sometimes. And trust me, that is really hard to do, right? Chris and I have been like working around the clock lately for weeks. So processes like brain spotting just like give us moments throughout the day that just help us tune in so we can keep going. Right. So think about this again, right? Our brains misfile experiences without discharging stress if we don't actively do something about it. Right. And brain spotting is so key to healthy processing of stress and the nervous system regulation. With a brain body foundation, your brand strategy flows authentically, right? Your messaging is going to feel embodied to you rather than just intellectual. Customers are going to resonate with your purpose and your vision, and your brand voice is going to sound human because you are connecting to yourself in your flow state when you're doing these things. And we not only do group brain spotting and one-on-one, heading now that everybody's got like a firm foundation of brain spotting, I'm going to start teaching how to self brain spot and how to use it throughout each and every day. So let's go a little bit deeper into the brain science, right? As I mentioned before, my graduate research explored how stress affects behavior and performance, right? And then it triggers these coping mechanisms to either shut down our discomfort, right? And this forms bad habits because we don't take responsibility for our nervous system's reactions. That's like truly on us. And think about it, for example, like when you're caught in fear, right? You get tight, your eyes narrow, we lose access to our peripheral vision. We lose access to the information that we need to make informed decisions. And sometimes our hearing narrows too, right? When you're stressed out, like you can't hear what's going on, how you need to make an informed response and not just, not just react. You don't want to be less accurate at interpreting situations in business when you're under stress, right? It's going to lead to errors, poor choices, relationship disruption, and truly hardship, right? So working with your eyes helps shift limiting patterns. It is vital to our survival, right? Consider the body, right? I said it before, in fear, your muscles get signals to protect yourself based on what your eyes are focusing on, right? And then your brain's going to interpret the situation and tell the body how to respond. Right. So this automatic reaction can truly lead you astray if you don't get a handle on how your body functions. Right? Brain spotting also gets both hemispheres communicating, right? Because usually we all tend to operate from a dominant side, and that starts really early, like right out of the womb, which part of the brain that we're more dominantly wired towards, right? So we, using brain spotting, literally can work around, this, because if we don't, we have to, right, remember these neural nets, we have to work around these neural roadblocks. It takes more effort, more energy, and more time when instead of dealing with these blocks directly, right? Clearing these blocks, it'll open floodgates of struck potential so your superpowers can come back online because we all have these superpowers. So a couple examples, right? You're going to know you're dysregulated if you have either too much energy, nervous energy, or just not enough energy, right? When your nervous system is regulated, you feel calm, grounded, and focused. And if you get into dysregulation, which happens all the time, you're able to get back into regulation more quickly, right? And there's a lot of things that you can do to do that, not just with brain spotting, but also with your breath, combining your breath, your body sensations, and your eyes. Right? Our nervous systems, they need regular clearing and recharging to prevent overload and burnout. Our survival brain, right, takes on the information and it stores it without conscious processing. Right? So if you make time to process your brain blocks, you do not have to waste time and energy working around them. It's really important to understand that. Right? We live with constant interruption unknown before with these things. Truly, our nervous systems are forced into survival mode with little chance to discharge stress because of the bangs every single day, all day long. And people we know, and I know it, including myself, more irritable, anxious, and aggressive than before the onslaught of constant smartphone disturbance. Right? Why? It's because we're not discharging and recharging our nervous system enough. And it's such a simple process that can be done on your own after you learn how to do brain spotting with a certified clinician, which I am. Right? So it is up to us to adapt to these technological changes and not fall victim to them. Right? New neural networks can be untangled, right? So you can begin to perceive your experiences in an undistorted way. Right? We literally have to untangle them from the bottom up, right? From the body sensation level to the level of thought. It's literally just how our biology and our bodies work, right? We can't think through blocks. We have to sense and feel them first and then think. And this process happens instantaneously. It's just how we're designed, right? Social media, it shortens our attention span. It constantly depletes our dopamine. So these eye positioning exercises, studies have shown, literally replenish our dopamine levels, right? What does it do? It makes us feel better. It's pretty simple, right? Our eyes are an undiscovered powerhouse, doing more than we realize, right? Brain spotting is used for recovering stroke victims, war veterans, natural disaster survivors, professional athletes in all sectors of sports. Its potential is truly limitless. Like, literally, I was so excited when I saw this. It just made it into Forbes magazine and Esquire magazine this month. Right? It really is forging the future of psychology, and it is a paradigm disruptor for the broken and incorrect psychiatric medical model. Right? Knowing how you feel lets you gauge the state of your nervous system, and it directly enhances your performance and in everything in life. Right? It balances your emotions really quickly, it widens your perception, and it helps you respond versus react. Right? It gives you direct access to regulation and dysregulation systems in your body so you can neutralize whatever is bothering you literally on the spot. Right? Because once we create a new neural connection, it lasts for life. There's no more one step forward, two steps back like talk therapy. Working with the midbrain allows us to work on ourselves in the present moment. When we talk about accessing our past or future, right? That's when, excuse me, when you're talking, you're accessing the past and the future, right? It's super important to do that. Like, we frame brain spotting around talking, but if that's all that we do, that's where we stay stuck, right? We need to work on where we are right now in the silent level. So brain spotting works below language and thought to create those new perceptual possibilities, like staying stuck in the past mind chatter, which I know we all experience. And it's really important to have that mind chatter. But if you use a brain spot, you'll actually be able to get past those rolling cyclical thoughts much quicker. It helps you take control of your life by taking control of your thoughts, right? Our thoughts are supposed to be here to serve us. And when they take over, something like brain spotting brings them right back to where they belong, in service to our well being, right? So I know it's understandable to wish rewiring your brain was easier, but you can actually make that happen with brain spotting instead of just wishing. It is really easy. Right? To be able to think from an empowered place, you must seek out those experiences and information first on the silent level, right? Then your body won't fight the changes your intellect knows will best serve you, right? Think about perfectionism, right? It's a coping strategy when feeling out of control, or the frustrating concept of having to let go, right? Once we hold on to things in the survival brain, right? Not the thinking brain, you must use tools to access that area, right? You cannot think your way out of this stuff, right? Brain body clearing is required first, right? Clearing work-related stresses, it prevents overload so you stay focused and regulated for each task in all your relationships, both professional and personal, right? Failing to do so means carrying excess baggage and responding poorly to new stressors as they compound. Like, who wants that? So, right, brain spotting helps discharge experiences correctly so you don't misfile them between tasks, right? When you find yourself making mistakes, you have to check in with that using something like brain spotting, right? If you only invest in believing harder without addressing brain blocks, you'll be disappointed, right? Mindset approaches, they do fail. They are a lie because motivation depends on a regulated nervous system and an embodied experience of that, right? It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's truly just the brain acting unconsciously on old data to protect from perceived threats, right? You just want to discharge those blocks. You don't have to exert willpower. Willpower comes as a result of having full access of your nervous system. So, right? The brain guesses about outcomes you haven't experienced yet, fears potential downsides, right, of that future, right? So if you're coming up against a goal and you find yourself self-sabotaging, you do get in the way of your goal to achieve your success. You have to clear your nervous system in order for those things not to happen, right? With a brain body foundation, right? We're going to get into brand strategy now. It's going to flow authentically, right? I said messaging is going to feel embodied rather than intellectual, right? You're going to connect your audience to your purpose and vision, and using your body brain is going to really help you use, whether it's using an AI tool or just writing it yourself, it's going to help make those connections more powerful for the people that you want to connect to. Right. And so let's
Absolutely.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go. Excuse me. I just have, here we go. I'm sorry. I got a couple, 1 second. Yeah, here we go. Now we're going to get a little bit into branding, right? Your brand
Okay.
is going to nurture a deeper emotional connection with your clients, right? It's going to reinforce their loyalty to you and vice versa, right? You want to carve out a unique space for your brand in the market, right? Your brand purpose presents you as a contributor to societal good, right? It's not merely about doing business, but doing business with positive, tangible impact on the world. And proper branding cultivates an emotional bond with your clients because it paves the way for memorable brand experiences. So it's really important to get really clear on who you are, what your agency stands for, so you can convey that to your audience, right? And your brand, once you do that from an embodied place, it will set you apart from your competition when you know what you stand for as an agency. And the only way you can do this is if you know who you are. You need to know what your mission is and what your purpose is. And we go through this really clearly in Atlas Agency Launch Lab on how to know how to do that. Because your brand shapes your reputation. You want your audience to feel your passion and your motivation, right? And we know this now, like especially on social media, brands have increasingly adopted human-like personas, and how they behave becomes significantly important due to the intimate and personal nature of interactions with consumers, right? Consumers evaluate the behavior of brands just like they evaluate the behavior of people, right? So all our varied encounters with brands are intuitively and emotionally processed before we apply logic. The essence exists in the value your agency embodies and how it operates. The experiences your clients and the public have with your agency and the person that you are really important. Personal values manifest in your behavior as a brand, right? Remarkable service is not enough these days if no one buys into it. So I really invite you just to think deeply, like why your agency exists, right? Because your clients are going to feel this when your brand exudes trust and superiority because you own who you are as a person and as a brand, right? Your brand is a
Jennifer,
yeah,
don't people just, sorry to interrupt, but don't people
yeah.
kind of look for themselves in the products and services that they use, they associate to? They look for that piece of themselves that they can attach onto. Is that part of what this is about?
100%. Like that, I'm so glad you said that. Like we're living in a time now. Like if you put yourself into your brand and your brand messaging, right? And that's how, right? Our brains are quantum, the universe is quantum, life is quantum. You're going to create that vortex and that funnel through who you are as a person, through your language and your communication. They're going to find you. Your tribe will find you. It's just how it
Right.
works. The internet has opened up that potential for us to actually evolve how we do business, right? And put ourselves in it in a much deeper way. So I'm really glad that you said that. So a little bit about brand persona, right? So your brand personality and your brand archetype, they are an intrinsic pulse that beats within every successful brand, right? They're the lens through which we perceive brands, making them more human and relatable, right? So you want to imagine yourself as a craftsman, delicately molding your brand persona. For your creation to truly captivate others, you need to align with an archetype that embodies your brand's values, mission, and vision, right? It's like a singular guiding star with a ship at sea, right? Your archetype truly is your North Star. And we define brand personas through the process by like selecting different archetypes, which are models of human nature that represent different motivations and values, right? So we tune in exactly what you're saying, John, to patterns of instinctual behavior hidden
Right.
within the unconscious of our clients that shape our personalities and inform our interactions with our clients, right? All of these types of archetypes that are woven into the fabrics of our stories and all brand stories, right? And like basically it's important to understand, we talk about like understanding life's essence, like what you're bringing to them, right? You talk about leaving a legacy, you talk about connecting to others and providing structure for them as a human in their business, right? So I know I'm going on really long. Let's see. Yeah, we were talking
You
about
get
memorable.
excited about this stuff. It's a
Yeah,
huge
it is.
part.
And I
This
know I'm
is a
like, oh my
huge
God,
part of
it's
what we
actually 1
do,
o'clock.
right?
I have 3
Yeah.
more minutes. Okay. I was like, I did this before. It was 15 minutes, but it's clearly getting longer. Okay. All right. Thinking about like a brand tagline. We go really deeply into brand languaging, but like if you can guys can start like thinking about like what would your tagline be, right? It's like think about like Nike's, like just do it. Right. If you can distill, we use brain spotting during branding exercises to distill like a pile of language into a few sentences into taglines. Just start to think about like what's like a phrase that you would want like to be represented by. So we use an embodied approach to branding because we use brain spotting as a foundational practice at Atlas. So your agency as a brand stands out from everyone else in the marketplace, right? And we teach you how to provide branding as a service to all your clients because they all need branding to stay relevant in today's online world. I'm almost finished, right? So this is one of the many things that makes Atlas the finest course out there. I am so honored and proud to be here and to provide the support everyone deserves on their journey to becoming the CEO of their agency, right? I live and breathe brain spotting as a vocation, as a therapist and a coach, and I live and breathe my agency now. Yeah, because it is who I am, right? These things have become who I am. They give my life meaning and purpose, and I truly want the same for all of you to live out your purpose with passion and pride, right? That's why we meet weekly during the 12 weeks to come together and do brain spotting. I execute each week's gathering very strategically, with each week building and growing towards your goals to make sure you're clear on where you are within your agency, on your agency building journey, right? And I'm available for one-on-one brain spotting when you need tighter frames to get into your flow state and clear any blocks that are getting in your way. No further ado, I am going to now hand over the stage to Zach and Chris, our body well-being experts. You're in good hands.
Good afternoon. My name is Zach. I'm not sure if it still says Sheena underneath my name, underneath my face. Well done, Jen. It's definitely very passionate about this, and anyone who's on the fence, I've done a few one-on-ones with Jen, and I was one of the other ones who thought maybe it was a little woo-woo, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Still doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it works. So if you're even wondering whether or not, just give it one shot. Let's see what it does.
I'm a little lucky. I get to experience it whenever I really, truly need it. And I ask nicely. So it's helped me immensely. Thank you, Jen.
And I'm already seeing applications for, she starts early in the Atlas Agency Launch Lab, with branding, but then works the brain spotting right into it. And as she said, it's throughout the entire journey, but it's just the difference in 2 weeks of watching students and how they function. The difference is amazing in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And we're halfway through the journey with some of them. So it's only going to get more powerful. I have a feeling.
It's interesting, the feedback, like you said, Zach. Not everybody is not aware of what this is and how it works, and some people are a little skeptical. But a couple of our students felt that way, and now have completely done a 180 and really experienced the benefit of it.
It's a little secret that a lot of CEOs and Fortune 500 companies and a lot of billionaires use. So we might as well all be using it.
We are blessed to have it as a part of the whole thing. So
honored to be here.
All right. So you guys are talking about other aspects too that are almost as important as we're building everything up, through the entire your entire agency experience, reigniting your agency in many ways, reigniting your digital marketing work. And then you come to points where there's the rest of life comes back calling with a vengeance, and so there are ways to get through that. And so I think that's what you guys are going to Zach and Chris are perhaps going to touch some more on, right?
Yeah. Zach. So excuse me, real quick. The first time you're seeing my face, my name is Zach. I am a co-founder of Atlas Agency Launch Lab, as well as being in the agency space for around 5 years, being a part of Atlas Online Solutions. And the topic that I would like to bring to the table is the idea that Instagram has made it look like entrepreneurship is free and fun, and you get to go fly on private jets and hang out on the beach and without a care in the world, and really attracts people to it. And then very quickly they find out that it is not that at all. And you spend most of your time sitting behind a computer, probably hunched over, overstressed, underslept, not taking good care of your body. And it just leads to overall poor health. So as well as being our head of AI, Chris has been practicing physical therapy for the last 15 years or so, as well as being a strength coach and a respected educator in his space. So in this next little bit, it's going to be sort of an interview back and forth with him, just to give a real basic understanding of what we can do. So if you are in that space, or if you don't want to go back into that space of feeling trapped by your work and just really degrading your health, trying to grow this thing. So with that said, Chris, what are some of the common things that people should look out for when sitting behind a computer all day?
Yeah, so basic ergonomics that we should all be aware of these days. I mean, when we're off of our computers working, sometimes we're on our phones as well. So being in these positions for really long period of times leads to areas of stress in like common places. I'm sure everyone here understands having stress in your shoulders, right? These upper trap muscles here. We all want somebody to rub them every day. And a lot of that comes from your lower neck, right? Where we sit and our heads kind of go forward, and then we tuck our chin out a little bit to kind of see, right? And we just sit in that passive posture a lot. And so common areas to look for is that lower neck area, right? And then your mid back, where your mid back meets your low back, is an area called your thoracolumbar junction. And it has a tendency to get stiff. So there's like these little hinge points that when we're in one position, we sit there, and there's a lot of stress and strain that goes right on those areas. So being aware of that to combat it, to more than anything, changing your positions is one of the best ways to deal with that. Sometimes if you talk to a therapist, they describe the optimal posture to you, right? Everyone, sit up tight, shoulders back, long neck. It's not realistic to sit in this perfect posture all the time. It's impossible, really. So the key is to really change your positions and to be aware that you're not in a posture where your shoulders are rounded forward, your head's kind of forward, and you start to feel that stress and that strain on these areas and on your low back, and to change your positions. So some simple little things you can do. Jennifer and I, we switch chairs, right? A day or two, I'm like, I've been in this chair for a few days, and the way you sit on them, it changes the way your spine sits, all the way from your lumbar all the way up to your neck, right? So we'll mix up the chairs, okay? Everyone's heard the sitting on a stability ball. That's a good little trick to kind of mix it up. You sit on a stability ball, it makes your muscles that stabilize your spine, they kind of have to kick in because the surface is unstable, right? So that activates different muscles than if you're just sitting in a solid chair. So sitting on a stability ball for a little while and mixing up the chairs is a good way just to kind of mix things up. Something else that I recommend, looks a little stupid, people don't love doing it, but is a cervical retraction exercise, okay? It's basically where, if I go to the side here and you see where you kind of make a double chin and you bring your head back here. And if people struggle to do it, where they do this, I always tell them, imagine my hands smelled really bad. What would you do? And they go like this, right? So that's the cue that you have to remember, is get away from that smelly hand. Ew, gross. Right? So doing that repetitively throughout the day, sometimes you're sitting at the computer and you come back here, and even taking your fingers and applying a little bit of overpressure, you generally feel a little stress in this area, which is good stress, because this is where you get locked up, these joints. And so by doing this, you're opening up those joints, you're lengthening the tissues in the back of your neck, right? And you combine that with basic shoulder rolls. Really, nothing fancy, but moving those tissues, activating those muscles, right? Those two right there will bring you very far and not feeling that stress and that strain in those traps and on that neck. So that is a couple of tips of things that I use literally every day. Obviously, another simple one is getting up and walking. If you have a desk and you sit at a desk, having something where your laptop sits on it and raises it up changes the position of your neck and your mid spine. And now you're looking here. And you're there for an hour, and then you move that and you bring the laptop back down to here. Again, changing positions, things like that. So those are a few ergonomic tips that are really, really helpful. If I didn't use those, I would feel a lot worse than I already do. And we have been, as Jen said, at the computer for long, long hours, and I'm feeling pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So a lot of people think that stress is just sort of mental, but can you explain how it affects the rest of the body?
Yeah, I mean, obviously stress is mental, stress is emotional. This piggybacks a lot off what Jen is talking about and regulating your nervous system. Right? You know, what does that mean? What regulates your nervous system? Hormones are the communicators of the body that communicate with your central nervous system, your brain, and your muscles and your tissues. So how can we have an impact on that with movement and exercise? You know, very easily. Obviously, we all know the benefits of exercising, cardiovascular health, and just generalized movement. One of the things people don't always realize, if you're dealing with stress, right? And it is difficult and challenging at times when you're managing all the things in life and you're trying to run your agency, you're doing things, and then you got stuff going in the back of your head, right? You're in that sympathetic state of stress. So what are some things we can do to manage that? So resistance training of any kind, right? Any weightlifting has an impactful hormonal response on the body, right? It regulates cortisol and growth hormone, and it shifts your body in a positive direction. So just strength training alone is one of the best things you can do for your longevity, your metabolism, right? You don't have to do it every day for an hour. You did some resistance training 3 times a week, you feel the effects on a hormonal level for up to 48, sometimes even into 72 hours. So 3 times a week, lifting weights, you're going to feel better. That's why you walk out of the gym and you feel amazing. It's not, it's part of the psychological that I'm proud of myself. I went to the gym and my biceps are going to get huge if I keep this up. Of course, but that goes with the hormones, right? That you're shifting inside your body. And when you're in a stress state, when you're very sedentary, cortisol levels, you're going to go through those spikes, right? Cortisol has a bad rap because, yes, it is known as the stress hormone, and those sharp spikes are not good for your body. The cortisol, lower levels of cortisol, are beneficial for the body because the hormones are all about balance, right? So you need to have cortisol, and exercise, cardiovascular exercise and resistance training help you to regulate your cortisol. Sleep obviously is another big one when it comes to hormonal regulation, probably at the top of the list. Like really trying to make sure you can get your sleep in when you can, getting into a structure, right? If you can, a schedule is one of the best things for your body to regulate itself and get into that state of homeostasis. One other thing I love to do when I'm feeling stressed is a couple breathing exercises. And when I say this, I don't mean sitting in a room for a half hour listening to Enya with candles. It doesn't even need to be that. You could literally take 2 minutes, right, and learn to take a couple deep breaths, and you use your diaphragm, filling up your rib cage, and then you exhale nice and slow. The key is that your exhale is longer than your inhale. And when you breathe that way, your body stimulates your vagus nerve. That vagus nerve is what puts you into parasympathetic, which is just rest and digest. So you're busy, you're stressed, you're dealing with this, you're emails, you're calling, oh, your kid fell down the stairs, all these things going on, you're going to be in that stress state. What is something you can do quickly to kind of calm yourself and regulate yourself so that you can focus, right, and be as optimal as you can? Quick breathing exercises, right, and really do work. Diaphragmatic breathing, there's breath holds, there's a lot of stuff you can do to really regulate, but the simple one is just make sure your exhale is longer than your inhale, and that will stimulate your vagus nerve to calm you.
Awesome. Excuse me. Sounds like really good tips.
Mhm.
So we talked about the physical, being able to get up, go get some fresh air, get some sunlight in your eyes. What
Yeah.
about that's really only 1/3. What about something like nutrition and sleep as well? How do they affect stress?
Yeah, I mean, nutrition is absolutely key, especially these days, right? A lot of the foods we eat, especially when you're busy and you're multitasking, it's really easy to stop at Taco Bell and grab a taco and whatnot, So yeah, I occasionally like to do this just for fun, and Jen likes to mock me a little bit, but once in a blue moon is okay. But no, you have to make sure that you're getting the nutrients that your body needs, right? Supplementing, we're big on supplementing. So I'm living in New York. I used to live in Florida for 18 years. I had all the vitamin D I could possibly need, but now I have to take vitamin D3 or my levels will be low. And you really feel that too. Your joints get achy, you feel fatigue, you go to your doctor and they're like, well, your vitamin D is low. So vitamin D3, that's a big one if you're anywhere in the Northeast like us. But just general nutrition, make sure you're getting all your minerals, zinc, calcium, magnesium, all that stuff is really, really important.
Mhm.
Again, I can connect it with the brain spotting, right? You're dealing with neurons to manage your stress. Well, your brain feeds off these minerals and glycogen, right? Your brain uses a lot of glycogen, which is from healthy carbohydrates. So you get fruits and vegetables stuff. So being healthy is not just about, oh, I want to lose weight and look good. Again, of course, that's the obvious goals. But if you're really trying to be the best version of yourself because you have a lot of tasks to do and you want to grow your agency, scale your agency, you're constantly learning, you want to be your best self, nutrition and getting proper sleep are really kind of a prerequisite if you're going to do the best that you can.
Great, thanks for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
it definitely sounds like a good 80-20 of being able to get yourself to although you're sitting behind a computer all day, you can still take care of yourself. And with everybody's body being a little bit different, would you recommend going for some type of blood work to make sure that all your hormones are in check as well?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If that's something that you can do, a lot of times it just depends on insurance and cash flow. It's something Jennifer and I do. We'll go and we'll get blood work and we'll kind of see where we're at. Even just twice a year, every 6 months, you get assessment on your hormones. They can run a complete blood count. But if your doctor runs a panel on some food sensitivities and things like that, and nutrients, you really get a lot of feedback, and you can learn potentially what foods you might need to pull back on and what foods you need to increase and what supplements and such. So I mentioned the D3. That's something I'm always aware of. And I kind of have hit my sweet spot where I stay in my range, but sometimes it dips a little low. And when I do get that blood work, I know now that I'm going to go through a week or two where I'm going to double the dose to bring myself back up. And I really, really do feel the difference. So that is a good way to learn what your body needs, along with kind of paying attention to what makes you feel better. And that relates back to exercise as well, right? I mentioned resistance training. It doesn't have to be resistance training. It can be, a lot of people like yoga. I'm a huge fan of yoga because I just enjoy movement. Right? It calms me, it makes me feel better and whatnot. So you combine all those factors, nutrition, kind of knowing where you're at, getting some feedback from some labs from your doctor, whatnot, putting yourself in the best state, right? And when you're in those states, I think we all know sometimes you you go through a little phase where you're feeling really good and you're just on fire and you got it and you're crushing stuff. And maybe vacation's a good example, right? Oh, I just went on vacation. You kind of slack off on your diet. Sure, you're on vacation, you should, but sometimes it's hard to get back into that flow that you were in. And part of that is nutrition, part of that is how you're sleeping, right, whatnot. And part of it is coming back into the reality of dealing with stresses. So yeah, that's a good example, Zach, of another thing you can do to just monitor where you're at and try to just stay in your flow so you can keep rocking and rolling and building your agency.
Absolutely. We got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Real quick, the first one is going to be, could you talk about calorie intake and how we can make sure that we're doing the best to keep ourselves healthy?
Yeah, I mean, sure. My recommendation there would to be download MyFitnessPal, because it is one of the best, if not the best things that you can do to be aware, right? You put in your age, your height, your weight, right? And then it'll help you calculate your BMI, which sometimes take that with a grain of salt. The BMI is a little crazy sometimes. I think everyone should be walking around like string beans. So, don't be alarmed if it's a little high, because yeah, exactly. Even if you have muscle, they're like, no, you're too heavy. And it's like, no, not really. But it gives you a good starting point, right? And it will create a plan for daily caloric intake and based on your goals, right? Is your goal to build muscle? Is my goal to build fat? Is my goal to maintain so that I don't gain weight right now? And it can help you calculate how many calories you should have each day, and it will break down the macros of protein, carbohydrates, and fats, and it will give you a range of percentages of this is where you should be at. If you upgrade to the paid version, some people do, you totally don't need to, but if you really wanted to look at it, then it goes and breaks down the micronutrient content, and that's where you look at vitamins and minerals and kind of see, oh wow, I'm really not getting a lot of iron. Let me look at some foods that have some iron and pump that up. So there's a lot that can be done regarding that with MyFitnessPal for free.
Absolutely.
Helps keep a food diary too, doesn't it? As
Yes.
far as what's out there, if you're going to monitor what you're eating and how bad it really is for you, sometimes it helps do that with a big database.
You learn that real quick. I remember many years ago, I saw the bloomin' onion that Outback had, and they had that in there, the macros. It was so scary. There was like 437 grams of saturated fat and 12,000 milligrams of sodium. I was like, this is like a stroke on a plate. Oh my God.
But it's a vegetable. Come on.
Exactly. So yes,
being that fat has a 9 calories per gram.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dangerous. Yeah, I don't remember what the calories were. It was crazy. It was nuts. But yeah, it's a good point, John. You can track your food, and if you start with it, sometimes it takes a little effort. You got to put in your foods, but then it starts to learn the things, right? And there's also pre-existing things that other people have made. So you chicken breast, right? You type in chicken breast and you say, all right, it's roughly this big. That's probably 6 to 8 ounces, and that's there for you. But you can put restaurants in, you can put in supermarkets, pre-made things, and you can create your own meals and stuff. So if you want to take that time, you can get hyper accurate, but even just use a little less strictly as a general guideline is still helpful.
Right.
Yeah, we could talk about this for hours and how to maximize and different diets and stuff. But thanks for answering some of my questions. Knowing all this and having gone through it personally, learning a lot of it the hard way. When we designed the Launch Lab, we were very conscious at taking care of the entire person, not just the business itself.
Right.
At the Atlas Agency Launch Lab, you work with the 5 agency heads, myself, Sheena, Chris, Jen, and John, that have backgrounds such as personal training, nutrition, somatic movement and trauma therapy, brain spotting, physical therapy, and so on and so forth, that can really add to this equation. We want to make a program that can really set you up for success, and supporting every student's personal needs that come through our Done For You system. a desire to take that stress overload that everyone finds, and the potential for burnout off your plate as much as possible. When you enter a program, not only do you have the 5 agency heads working inside of your business, but we also have a team of 9 digital marketing specialists, excuse me, that are hired and trained to work on your behalf for the entirety of the 90 days in our program, doing stuff like running your social media, appointment setting, prospecting, running paid ads, and so much more. Being an entrepreneur is hard. We talk about ways to make it better, and that's just really scratching the surface. But with the right support and guidance, you can avoid many of these hardships that we've been getting our agencies through and get them up and running with ease. So,
right.
Well, we kind of talked about this earlier, or it was alluded to earlier by one of the people, perhaps Sheena. When you guys started putting this together and we came alongside, we've all been through many of the same trainings. There's great training out there on the internet, but there are still gaps of things that are, that are still missing, that are important, that aren't talked about. And this is actually one of them. I mean, this is what you guys are going through, right? What you're talking about right now can be just as important, because if it's not in balance, it throws off everything else you're doing. And it's equally important, and it's not as addressed as some of the others. So this is one of the things that we really wanted to make special about this whole program is including stuff just like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
somebody
mentioned
circadian rhythm and sleep, right?
Yep.
Using blue light glasses. That's a great point, right? Blocking, some of that light that's going to keep you awake and throw off that rhythm, and making sure that you're getting sun so that your brain knows when it's daytime and when it's nighttime. That's a huge factor that goes with sleep hygiene too. So great point.
Yep.
Well, I think we've heard a lot from some of our experts about, how we take care of our students. Let's hear from another one of our students who has recorded a testimonial for us to find out what they have to say about being part of the Atlas Agency Launch Lab. So everybody, please meet Phil.
Hey guys, this is Phil here with the Guided Growth Syndicate. And I just wanted to give a big shout out to the Atlas Agency Launch Lab. For those of you that don't know, I've been in several different coaching programs. I know the landscape pretty well. And one thing that sets Atlas apart is their willingness to do a done-for-you program that is a legitimately complete done-for-you program. See, the big struggle that a lot of freelancers face is they get all this information, they get this fire hose full of information, and they're like, okay, go off and do it. Well, that doesn't really help anybody, right? Because when you're starting off, you don't have the budget. Even though you might know what to look for, you don't know where to find the right people to fill in your knowledge gaps, because everybody's good at some things and not good at others. So when you have an agency like Atlas in your corner that can fill in those gaps for you so that you can actually start to build your agency while you're learning, like you can make money while you're learning. That's huge, especially when you're first starting out, because you're on that edge, right? Like you don't have the resources. So to be able to put a 7-figure agency behind you and have those resources available to you while you're starting out makes all the difference in the world. And I can't recommend Atlas Agency Launch Lab enough. I think every freelancer should go through something like this if they want to be successful. Thanks, guys.
Oh. Once again, another testimonial that I didn't get a chance to glance over because it was shared with us during our time here. Philip is one of our students right now who entered the program September 1st, and the growth and the absolute hard work that him and his family have put into really getting their entrepreneur journey started has just been phenomenal. The success that they're getting, even though we're still in week 4 for us September students, has just been so encouraging, guys.
Yeah, it's really not even halfway through, and look at some of the amazing things that are happening for them and for all the students.
Yep. All right. So I know that we've kept you guys here for a while. Before you all run away, I still would like to give you guys a little bit of information about how to run a successful lead generation campaign. So, we can get clients, I can teach you how to get clients, and that's perfectly fine. But if you don't know how to run a successful campaign, you're not going to keep clients. And sticky clients is what scales an agency. And a big part of that is not just a technical, this is how you push a button, right? Everybody can teach us how to push a button. There are so many courses that they teach you how to push a button, but not many of them sit there and talk to us about what we should put inside the copy, because the copy is what makes a campaign work and what makes it not work. So we don't have 4 hours to sit here and talk about it, but being an agency head, if you're outsourcing your work, which is a lot of what we teach our students to do, you need to be able to create a solid lead generation, because it's a skill that you're going to find valuable time and time again. Gone are the days where you can say 50% off a tire service and then get a flood of customers. Your audience has evolved and your lead generation copy needs to evolve as well. So what does a lead generation offer? Lead generation is the art of posting an advertisement and collecting names and contact information of the ideal customer, back to their avatar, that the business can then turn into a paying customer. People click on an ad because it promises to help solve their problem, not because they think that the ad checks all the right keyword boxes, all right? Which is why crafting a lead generation offer is so important. There's a copy, the Copy Hackers founder, Joanne Webb, she said, your job is not to write copy. Your job is to know your visitors, customers, and prospects so well that you understand the situation they're in right now, where they want to be, and exactly how your solution can and will get them to their ideal self. So back to that conversation we had about avatar and branding. I know we've talked about it an awful lot today, but there's just, somebody else reinforcing why it's so important, not just to get clients for your agency, but understanding that is what's going to make your campaign successful and make your clients stick around for a long time. Before you create an ad, think about what the user on the other end wants to accomplish and how your headline can help fulfill that need. So I've put together a couple of slides that will help demonstrate what it is I'm talking about. So here's one. There's an ad. The keyword is to sell books. All right. Looking at this ad, most people that are searching for this sell books query are going to be college students or readers who want quick cash for their books. All right. So this first ad, it focuses on exactly that. It's sell your books for cash. It doesn't try to push the service's features and quality. Instead, it tells viewers immediately they can use this service and get cash, which is their end goal for their books. So if you try doing this in your ad copy, which is focusing on the end solution, it's going to solve customers' problems. All right, number 2, I got 4 main steps here. Number 2 is to include emotional triggers. Stick with me right to the end here, and everybody who sticks with me right to the end is going to get a copy of over 270 emotive keywords that you can use inside your copy. Some visitors might be looking for a site with an end goal in mind, and often people are browsing quite casually to get information or discover what solutions and services are available for a potential problem. They might be scrolling YouTube, social media, and they're just trying to zone out from the day. For these kind of visitors, you have to spur them into action. And one way to do this is through emotional triggers. The reason behind this is really simple. People do not make decisions based on logic alone. Instead, they're driven by emotions. If people read something and they experience a really, really strong emotional reaction, such as fear, anger, disgust, they're going to click through. They're going to keep going, okay? So, for example, take a look at these ads for a personal trainer, all right? Most of these ads simply describe an offer. There's no way to differentiate between them apart from their locations and their prices. So when you're creating an ad, you don't want to just say, hey, I'm better than my competitors, or, here's another gym. Different is what gets clients, okay? This is going to work when competition is limited. So for most keywords, ads will just blend in with another. So if you're just creating this, competition is limited, you're perfectly fine. But if you are working in an area where there's high competition, emotive keywords is what's going to get you there. So take a look at this ad for a cosmetic surgeon in New York. This ad works because it addresses the single biggest issue that anybody who seeks cosmetic surgery has. They look older, and as a result, they don't feel good about themselves. So by highlighting how cosmetic surgery will help you, the patient, look younger and feel great, this ad triggers a far more emotional response than the ad below, which mostly talks about state-of-the-art facility. So how do you make your ad copy emotive? Oh, I thought I had a slide in there and I don't. That's fine. First, you want to determine who your customer is. You want to define the persona or the avatar, and you want to take on that appeal to that customer. You're going to write an emotive ad copy from that persona. Why we like to think that we make decisions based on rationale and logic. Most of us are like, yeah, I'm so logical. The truth is that our decisions are largely, if not entirely, emotion-based. We are wired to respond to external stimuli with emotions first, the limbic system in the center of the brain, followed then by logic, which is the outer neurocortex. Now, if I've got this wrong, Jen's on here and she's going to tell me I got it wrong. She hasn't said anything, so I think we're fine. Our brains operate from the inside out, all right? In fact, studies have found that people with damage to their limbic system are incapable of making decisions. So what does that have to do with marketing? When consumers are faced with countless decisions every day, we have to trigger particular emotions with our marketing copy, as long as they have a limbic system, so that you have the ability to influence their behavior. All right? For those of you who would like the PDF with 273 positive, powerful, emotive words and examples of how to use them, put your information in the webinar sign up and I'll make sure you get it. You have to be really careful, however, to balance this reaction with the rest of your message, because you don't want your customers to associate your brand with negative emotion. Instead, focus on solving the fear or the concern. So I'm going to go through some of those words with you today and explain how to use them. But first, let's talk about my third thing to remember when you're creating an ad. You need to focus on benefits, not features, right? When it comes to creating the body of your ad, you do not want to waste time by stating how amazing your brand is. Instead, you need to get visitors to take action by telling them how your brand or your product is going to improve their life, how it's going to solve a problem, how it's going to fix that pain. Your ad needs to be personal. So you're going to use words like you, and you must be able to demonstrate how your service can benefit your visitor. Here's an example on your screen from the pet insurance industry. This ad focuses on benefits by stating in its copy how much the visitor is going to save, 5%, how a visitor can cut costs without cutting coverage, which is use of them, informing that the plan works with any license vet, so that's convenience. And then if you compare this ad to the ad below it, it's really vague, all right? It states save big, but what does that mean? How much? It states visit today, but it doesn't need to be said if somebody's already searching for you. This is a Google ad. They're already searching for you. They're already interested. So this just wastes some ad space. Now, I've got another example here for you about LASIK surgery in New York. Okay. A customer who wants to get laser surgery done. They don't really care about the exact brand name of their equipment or even the technology that's used. What they really care about is whether the surgery is fast, it's comfortable, and it's accurate. These are benefits, not features. And that's exactly what the first ad here focuses on. Surgery that is more comfortable, faster, and more precise. And only after mentioning those benefits does the ad then talk about features, best price guarantee, next day recovery, things like that. In contrast, the second ad doesn't talk about benefits at all. Instead, it approaches the ad from a position of authority by stating how many surgeries they've performed, which is kind of a useless number because most customers have no idea what number of surgeries is normal for LASIK practice. If you're finding it hard to differentiate or provide benefits in a short amount of space, you could use psychology to drive conversions, and I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? Implement FOMO. For those of us who aren't completely sure what FOMO is, my 10-year-old informs me, it is fear of missing out. And this fear of being left out or missing out can be a catalyst to get visitors to a site. Loss aversion is a very real psychological force, and using it in your ad copy is an easy way to drive some conversions. It's simple. It's really, really simple. Often I see this used, it's like a countdown timer, which runs in real time. And here's an example on your screen from a business which is selling TVs online. Okay. These ads work because humans are more motivated by the idea of losing out than they are by gaining something. So by instilling time limits, more people are likely to click through. When competition online is only getting more intense, writing compelling ads is a powerful tool to drive conversions. It takes time, it takes practice, but following these 4 steps I just talked about right now is going to help you get ahead of your competition. And it's going to help your clients get ahead of their competition. And that's what they're here for. All right. So let's take a look at emotive copy. All right. 5 categories for emotive copy: loyalty, confidence, fear, anger, and curiosity. We're going to cover the role of each of these emotions, how it plays in with the consumer behavior and buying habits. And then I'm going to shower you with all the words and ways to use them to invoke these emotions. Okay. So why do we use emotional marketing? We know that emotions drive decisions, but let's talk about the other reasons that you should spend some time making sure that your advertising copy is emotive. It's going to humanize your business. All right. Research shows that consumers perceive the same type of personality characteristics in brands as they do in people. And I know that Jen just spoke to you about it, but I'm really, really going to drive that home. That attraction is emotional based. It's not rational. So just as an emotionless human is hard to connect with and is oftentimes avoided, so is a brand that represents itself as a colorless array of products and features and benefits. Emotional words and phrases transform your brand into a character with a particular tone, voice, and personality that consumers can be attracted to and they can connect with. All right. The other reason to use it is it's going to build a community. All right. Think of emotions as a way not to just get in front of your audience, but to get behind them. By producing content that represents the emotions they want to avoid or to achieve, you can demonstrate that you really get them. You have their back. And a person who feels validated and accepted is going to want to give others who are like-minded the opportunity to experience that too, which ties into the referrals part that John was talking about before. And before you know it, your audience is going to be building itself into a niche of individuals who share the same values, right? It's going to leave an imprint. That's another reason to use it. With consumers being exposed to between 6,000 and 10,000 ads a day, most content kind of goes in one consumer's ear or eye and out the other in a matter of seconds. Studies, however, show, and I know that you've experienced this yourself, that emotional experiences are more likely to be retained in our memory than non-emotional experiences. The more your content can produce an emotional experience for your viewers and readers, the higher chance you have that they are going to remember you later. You can convey more with less if you use emotional words, okay? There's a time and a place for long form content, but for a lot of marketing material, like blog post titles, social media posts, email subject lines, elevator pitches, things like that, you only have a certain number of characters to work with and to make an impression. Emotional words hold power. They can enable you to convey more with less. In other words, you can write less because you're writing best. The other thing it will do is outlast products and promotions. Promotions will come and go. Products and service offerings will evolve over time, and persona pain points and desires are going to change. But emotions are here. They are hardwired in for affinity unless you sit there with Jen and you work on your brain spotting and help let them go. Anger is always going to be anger. Joy is always going to be joy. Fear is always going to be fear. So as long as humans have brains with functioning limbic systems, marketers can always count on them for effective campaigns, no matter what changes around them. Okay? So why these particular emotional words that I'm giving you in this PDF? Okay? Emotions are powerful, they're motivating, they're colorful, they're abundant. Look at this wheel. This is not all the emotions by far, but this is just some of them. We picked these 5: loyalty, confidence, anger, fear, and curiosity, because they are going to be the most effective in getting consumers to act, and in very different ways. Okay, loyalty, this helps prospects to trust you faster. Okay, it's going to get them to give you their contact information, and existing customers are going to find that this loyalty language encourages them to spend more over time. Confidence encourages consumers to purchase more in the beginning and then turn to you for ongoing support. Anger inspires immediate action. Just take a second. The last time you were angry, was it anger, oh, I'm going to wait and sit on it? No, the driving force behind anger is to do something right now. Okay? It's going to inspire immediate action, and it's going to help you highlight your solution. Fear is going to strengthen your connection with your audience. It's going to increase the reliance on your business, and it's going to improve the memory of your brand. And curiosity is the last one. Curiosity is going to get your audience to explore your brand and click through your content. Now, if you're sitting there thinking anger and fear, like, come on, it's a bit crazy. Trust me, it's not. It's really, really not. And I'm going to show you how to use stronger words, such as ones that allude to murder, effectively in your copy. All right, stick around for a few more minutes. Let's talk about loyalty first. Is loyalty even an emotion? All right, that's a question I have actually been asked by students. Is it even an emotion? There are 2 types of loyalty. There's transactional loyalty and emotional loyalty. With transactional loyalty, customers are going to stick around with you for rational reasons. Okay, you're the closest to them. You offer the lowest prices, or there isn't even a nearby alternative. Okay. With emotional loyalty, on the other hand, customers are going to stick with you because they feel connected to you. They are more likely to stick with you even if there's competing businesses offering a lower price or a better offer. And not only that, but customer loyalty reduces costs and drive revenue. Here's some data to prove that. Loyal customers spend 67% more than new ones. And 82% of companies agree that customer retention is cheaper than acquisition. It costs up to 7 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain one. But while customer loyalty programs can bring major benefits to your business, they're often quite transactional. So think about the words that we often use to describe and promote a program. Okay? Accrue, appreciation, bonus, cash in, collect and save, earn, rewards, redeem, perks, points, start saving. These are transactional loyal words. Let's take a look at the more emotional approach to loyalty. There are 3 types of messaging to cover here, okay? The first is your loyalty to your mission. The second is the loyalty to your customers. And the third is your customers' loyalty to you. These are all things that if you haven't done branding yet, you need to really, really understand branding, because it's not only going to get your agency where you need to go, it's going to get your customers, your clients' businesses where they need to go. Because once you understand that, this sounds quite simple, okay? So if you're sitting here worried about it, don't worry. Join the Atlas Agency Launch Lab. We'll teach you it all. There are a few emotional words that will communicate loyalty to your mission, all right? Loyalty to your mission, it starts with the leadership in your business, and it trickles down through employees, and it gets picked up on by customers. When you've cultivated this kind of loyalty, words should come easy. But if they don't, here are a couple that you can try, all right? Along the way. Always. Cemented, committed, consistent, cornerstone, countless, dedicated, devoted, embedded, enduring, entrenched, evergreen, everlasting, for over this many years, hallmark, ingrained, maintain, mission, never. There's a bunch of them, okay? And I'm not going to be able to sit here and read them all out to you, but you do have access to the thing. Here's another one by Verizon. They say, we never stop working for you. This is a loyalty word. You could use no matter what. Our promise, our standards. Over the years is another really, really good one that we see used a lot in emotive ad copy. Pride ourselves on. Remain, steadfast, sustain, tradition, uncompromising, unshakable. All of these are words that are going to help communicate loyalty, emotional loyalty. All right. So let's talk about the other two aspects of loyal. How faithful are you to your current customers and vice versa? Do you know that 91% of customers from the age of 18 to 34 trust online reviews just as much as personal recommendations? It's a pretty big number. This, of course, highlights the importance of having reviews and testimonials, but it also means that the prospects trust the personal opinions of strangers. So if prospects pick up on the fact that current customers aren't just happy with you, but they keep returning, and you aren't just helpful, but you're committed to the ongoing success, will they not want to become part of that? All right, so here's some words that you can use to communicate loyalty between you and your customers. Bond, community, connected, customer spotlight, customer success, evangelists, families, frequent flyers, relationships, long time, just like our own neighbors, see why our customers keep returning, throughout our journey, together, unwavering. These are all words that talk about the fact that you have committed, loyal customers. Businesses exist to solve other people's or businesses' problems, and yet there exist countless other businesses that solve the same problems. Okay, so how can you get your clients to stand out from their competitors? And this is simple if you foster a sense of confidence. Okay, so your business and your audience feels confident. Emotive words that you can use to express confidence in your business there's so many, okay? Like loyalty, confidence is kind of going to grow from the inside out. So first you need to make sure you build confidence within your organization, in your products, your services, your missions, your values. You're going to hold regular meetings, or you're going to dedicate chat channels to sharing milestones, acknowledging people who demonstrate core values. You're going to show tangible ways that you've benefited your customers. Now pause for a second. In any of the marketing courses you've ever done, have they talked about the fact that this is training you should be giving to your clients? Because if they haven't, then you're doing your clients a disservice, right? Here at Atlas Agency Launch Day, we focus on business growth, on holistic business growth. And some of the things that we learn, some of the things that we are teaching to our clients, and things they have never, ever heard from marketers before. And these are just some of those things, okay? We're going to teach them that they need to hold regular meetings. We're going to teach them that they need to dedicate chat channels. They need to teach them that they need to inspire confidence and loyalty inside of their employees, because that's then going to translate to their copy. It's going to translate to their customer service. It's going to translate to reflecting their brand. When the employees believe in and are enthusiastic about a business's mission, they're naturally going to inspire other people to believe in it too. An expression of confidence can really make the difference between customers feeling good about a business and feeling passionate about a business. So here are some words and phrases that will have a business radiating confidence, right? Best in class, top, comprehensive, right? There's a huge amount of others. We'll go through a couple of them. Caliber, capable, count on, data back, definitive, focused, foolproof, forefront, market leader, most reliable, only, pioneers, proven, recommended, see who we've helped so far, specialty, swear by, top trusted, tried and true, trusted by over. Trusted by over is a really, really fun one to use, okay? This is one that Trello does. Trusted by over 1 million teams worldwide that are using Trello to get more done. Vetted, why choose us? Why our product and service beats a larger competition. So that way they're taking their competitor and they're positioning themselves against it. World class is another really, really good one. Confidence can be some of the most powerful tools and words you ever use inside of copy, right? Conveying confidence in what your business does is kind of only half the equation though. It's also the emotion that your customers want to feel inside of themselves and their decision to use a business. So it's up to you to reassure them that they're not alone with the problem they wish to solve and that they can and will identify and achieve the right solution with you. Okay, so now you need to add in a little bit of reassurance. You need to add in some reassurance. You need to foster that confidence. You need to empower them. Okay, so you can use words like achieve, available, belong, become the this that you've ever wanted to be, clarity, compassionate, doubt no longer, eliminate the guesswork, every step, fear not, from start to finish. These are all words that are going to help empower confidence inside anybody who reads it. Okay, this one here talks about guidance every step of the way, got your back, got you covered, in good hands, informed decision, master, meet you where you are. These are words that when you take a look at it, so look at this one here. We meet you where you're at. No BS. Make your fitness goals a reality. All right. Meet you where you are is making whoever's reading it feel empowered. Okay. The other words you can use are things like move the needle, no matter where you are at. Right. Pull the trigger. Rest assured. Results you want. Say goodbye to. Secure. Secure is another really, really good one. See here it says secure a solid foundation. That is a confidence emotive word. Another one, here's for an example, take control. It's going to make them feel really, really empowered if you're using words like that. Tips we swear by is a really, really fun one as well. I use it a lot in Instagram and Facebook. Tips we swear by, just because it's that confidence piece. All right.
These are embodied. Everything that you're saying, this is embodied languaging.
Yeah.
So, yep. Perfect.
Yep. Oh, it just broke the computer. Here's a fun one that's coming up. All right. Swearing expletives. All right. So we're going to move on from confidence. I say confidence is attractive. So you're going to celebrate wins, you're going to show off what you're proud of, but you're not going to forget words of affirmations for your customers. But now let's talk about fear. Fear is a fun one. Fear is that one right at the very beginning where I said, we're going to use fear, we're going to use anger, and you sat there and you thought I was all bit nuts. Let's talk about how it goes, because it's easy to think about loyalty and confidence and joy and other positive emotions because you think that these are the only ones that are going to appeal to your customers, they're going to appeal to your marketing copy. But as I mentioned, businesses exist to solve a problem. Consumers want their problems solved in order to escape from the negative emotions it causes. Okay, stress, anxiety, overwhelm, exasperation, fear, anger. So fear and anger are the two that we're going to focus on next. Fear is a powerful motivator for taking action. Consumers can be fearful of missing out, losing something, falling short, the list goes on. So we need to be able to use fear in our marketing. But as I said before, you want to make sure that emotive words reflect the fact that your brand is the answer. Okay? So how are you going to use fear in your marketing? Your goal with eliciting fear isn't to completely scare your target customers, but it's rather to spur them to action that will be to their benefits. All right? So here are some words and phrases that can trigger fear. Alone. Are you ready, prepared, equipped? Avoid, before it's too late, caution, cost you, danger. All right? This one here, the emotional trigger word is expletives. I think it's really clever. I love this one, so I'm going to leave it up for a minute and we'll finish talking about the rest of them. Decline, drop, fail, fall victim to, fooled, helpless. Right? These are all fear words. Here's another one, hurting. All right? Jeopardize. Now let's move on to that one about murder. Killing. Killing. You might think it's a little harsh. Hear me out. Using words like killing, lose, loss, miss, mistake, neglect, never, not enough. Those words are going to drive fear. Those words are going to drive action. Fast action. Right now action. Okay? Not enough. Pitfalls. Plummet. Prevent. Preventing. Protect. Powerless. Stop feeling powerless or paralyzed. Right? These are all fear actions. These are all fear ones. Let's move on to another one. This one's fun. I like this one. Suffer. Suffer. When you sat down and thought that you're going to write copy, does the first word that comes to your mind, oh, I'm going to put suffer in there. All right. Sabotage, scary, risk. These are all words that you should feel empowered to use. Okay. Steal, threat, too late, tragic, trapped, vulnerable, waste, what not to do, why you need to stop, get rid of right now, will you survive? Remember that triggering a sense of fear in your readers is only going to be effective if you insert your brand as a solution. Okay, I know I've said it twice now, but I'm going to say it again because acknowledging a problem is not the same as fixing it. You need to keep in mind you're not trying to make your readers feel bad or guilty or scared. Rather that there's an opportunity for improvement. By showing your brand as a safety net, you can strengthen their reliance on you. So let's move on to the next one. Anger. Anger. While fear focuses on anxiety over something that's not yet happened, anger tends to be feeling about something undesirable that's already happening, and it gets people to take action. In 2009, a study by the University of Pennsylvania found that content that invoked anger was 38% more likely to be shared compared to that which was awe-inspiring or anxiety-inducing. Anger also plays a role in one of the tried and true copywriting formulas called problem, agitate, solution. With this solution or with this strategy, you vividly and thoroughly describe the key problems that your prospects face, describe it some more, kind of to the point of agitation, and then present your offer as a solution. Okay, so here are some words that you can use to stir up that agitation. Atrocious, burnt, can't seem to, driving you mad, disappoint, deal with, endless, envy, fed up with, fleeced, greedy, frustrated, irritated by, jealous, maddening, ruthless. It's just, it goes on. Never ending, reached your limit, pointless, reclaim, swindled, trigger, unacceptable, victim, violate. All right, these are very, very strong words. Use them. You're not trying to pull out a provocative content that's going to excite anger, even though big brands can kind of afford to do that and take that risk. Rather, you're trying to recreate the experience they don't want, so they can immediately associate your brand with it as the hero. Okay, the better you can articulate how they feel, the more they will trust that you have what they're looking for. Even phrases like, if you're as irritated as we are about whatever their pain point is, so that you can solidify that you're in their corner. Notice how this example here says, so are we. Oh, wrong one. I didn't show it. I didn't put it in here. There was one in here that talks about so are we, okay? It shows them that you're in their corner. So now let's move on.
So are we, right? Tired of that don't make cut.
Oh yeah.
Underneath, are you fed up?
Oh, there we go. Yep, perfect. There it is.
Got it.
There we go. Thank you. So are we, right there. So let's move on from anger. Let's move on from fear and talk about something a little bit more calming, curiosity. Curiosity is a fun one. It doesn't always drive them to take action right now. But if you're targeting somebody in the buyer's journey that isn't quite ready for the sale yet, but you want to move them to the next step in the journey, just like we talked about in the prospecting part, these are words you're going to want to use, okay? Bonus, brilliant, change your mind. Change your mind is a really, really fun one. Choose your own adventure. Confessions of, confident, find out why, find out. Game changing, hidden. Hidden's a fun one. Hidden gems.
Yeah.
Right?
This is good too if you're just starting out trotting out a brand or trotting out a product or trotting out an offer. I mean, if you're just beginning with this, you're invoking some of that, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely, definitely, for sure. If you're representing a brand or a business that doesn't have much marketing authority, then this is where you're going to want to go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jaw dropping is another one. Less known, mind-blowing, mind-bending, no one talks about. Odd, new, don't overuse new, but it's also a good one. Revealed, revolutionary, shocking, spoiler, teaser, things you didn't know about or things you didn't know you needed. things you wish you knew sooner. You'll never guess, you won't believe. Using these emotional copywriting examples and words for truly compelling content is going to change the game for you. And it's going to change the game for your clients. Evoking emotion can come really easy with images and video, or through real world interactions with your customers, although hopefully not anger and fear, but it's far more difficult when you're writing text. You now have, every single person who signed up on that webinar sheet now has over 200 words that you can use to write more powerful copy than your competitors and influence the behavior of an audience. You just need to make sure you have your buyer persona or your avatar nailed down. You need to know their pain points, their desires, their fears, their needs, and then you employ these emotions in conjunction with one another. So you're going to follow fear with confidence. You're going to follow anger with loyalty and so on. Don't limit yourself to the 5 that I talked about, okay? The emotions that will be most powerful in your marketing is going to depend on how your industry and offers work and the traits of your target customers, okay? So all of you guys who would like a list of over 270 emotive keywords, make sure you've signed up inside that webinar. I will send it over. And I hope that this has been helpful to you guys. I really do. I know it's been super long and I'm sorry for that, but really wanted to give you guys as much help and guidance as possible. This webinar was about refresh, is what we talked about. You know, if people are coming, they need a refresh. Hopefully we tried to help do that with you guys.
And this is just I mean, if you haven't got this impression by now, you got to know this is just the tip of what we end up pouring into people for Atlas Agency Launch Lab. Because when you're talking about refresh, you not only have to bring in the new, you kind of have to, you know, take a strong look at the old and see what's working there or what's not. So yes, it was very long, but it was chock full of information, and I hope you guys got a lot out of it. As much as we enjoyed, you know, bringing it to you and letting you into the pieces of our world that we contribute to it. So,
yep. All right, guys. Once again, if you are interested in the Atlas Agency Launch Lab, or if you have questions, reach out to us. Okay. Yep. Reach out to Yessa. Reach out to Selena, John, myself. Even Jen and Chris and Zach can help point you in the right direction, and we will get you started. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, truly. We really care about what we're doing. So we look forward to doing the same for you.
All right. Exactly. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Have a great weekend.